The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Our next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
The Jack Benny Program. Quality of product is essential to continuing success. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Sure thing. That's right. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Take the word of the experts. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen present at the auctions can see Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
Sold American.
From St. Albans Naval Hospital in Long Island, the Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, since we're broadcasting from St. Albans Hospital, which is on Long Island, which is near New York, which is near Brooklyn, I bring you one of them bums, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and Don, I thought that was a very cute introduction, but it so happens that our broadcast isn't coming from Brooklyn. And besides, I happen to be a native of Waukegan.
Well, that's right, Jack. You were born in Waukegan, weren't you?
Yes, sir, Waukegan, Illinois. What a thriving metropolis. What buildings, what skyscrapers, what...
Wait a minute, Jack. The tallest building in Waukegan is only 3 stories high.
Yes, sir. What skyscrapers? What activity?
Jack, how can a 3-story building be a skyscraper?
Because Waukegan has a very low sky. That's why. Anyway, I love Waukegan. You know, in fact, I didn't leave there till I completed my education.
Oh, really, Jack? What college did you go to?
I didn't go to college. You know, you don't have to go to college.
Well, how long did you go to high school?
I didn't go to high school. It's not necessary to go to high school.
Well, for heaven's sakes, Jack, how long did you go to grammar school?
12 years. You thought you had me there, didn't you, Bob? And I would have gone longer than that, but I was drafted into the Navy. So there.
But, Jack, I happen to know that in the last war they didn't draft men into the Navy.
Well, I wasn't exactly drafted, Don. Here's what happened. You see, my father had a clothing store, and he sent me to Great Lakes Naval Training Station to deliver 6 sailor suits.
Uh-huh.
But when I got there, an officer asked me to try on one of those sailor suits for size.
And what happened?
Size didn't show up, and I had to wear it for the next 3 years. like being in the Navy. I don't know, it was so... Come in?
Mr. Benny,
Yes.
I'm a nurse stationed here at St. Albans Hospital in the research department. Would you mind opening your mouth and saying, ah?
Not at all.
Wider. Wider, please.
Wait a minute, what are you looking for?
A place to hold the USO dance. Goodbye.
Now, that's the silliest thing I ever... Don, what are you laughing at?
Oh, boy, did she make a sucker out of you.
Don, there's an old Chinese proverb that says, when big fat announcer laugh at man who pay him, announcer soon lose pay that keep him big fat. Just because that nurse was pretty, you didn't have to...
Hiya, boys. It's anchors away because Harris is here and he's G-O-K.
G-O-K?
Yes, G-O-K.
G-O-K, what's that?
Oh, Harris, you're just like a scow, so pull up your stern and take a bow.
Phil.
Oh, Harris, you're like the Pacific. You're
Phil.
Harris, so weighty and you're so terrific.
Phil!
Yahoo!
Wait a minute.
Oh, hello, Jackson. When did you come in?
I've been here all the time. And, Phil, what's that new one you pulled on us? What does that mean, G-O-K?
Well, that's the title the doctors gave me around here.
But G-O-K, what does it mean?
I don't know. I gave a pint of blood this morning, and that's what they wrote on the bottle.
Oh, well, that probably means the type. But, Phil, I can't understand them accepting your blood.
What are you talking about? I gave 8 pints of blood already, and they want more.
Well, don't feel so proud. They're only using it for back rubs. Tell you, some medical science has certainly made great progress since the last war. You know, we didn't have plasma when I was in the Navy.
You're right, Jack. The scientists and doctors have been wonderful. Them nurses ain't bad either.
You're not kidding, Phil. Those nurses do a great job, and they need a lot more of them.
Say, Jackson, I meant to ask you, when you were in the Navy, what was your rank?
Well, I was a seaman, 4th class. Yes, sir.
Seaman, 4th class? What's that?
That's an ensign with the air let out of his chest. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Stevens, our singer. Oh, Larry, come here a minute, will you?
Yes, Mr. Benny.
Come on in over here. Hey, they like you here, kid. What are you going to sing for the boys?
Well, it's called An Irish Lullaby.
Oh, yes. My mother used to sing that to me all the time. Go ahead.
Just a simple little ditty in her good old Irish way, and I'd give the world if she could sing that song to me this day.
sung by Larry Stevens, and Larry, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
And the orchestra sounded good, too. Phil, where are you?
Here I am, Jackson. I just stepped out for a minute. You ready for me to lead Larry's song now?
Phil, we just finished the song. No wonder the music sounded better. Who was that fellow that conducted the orchestra? Hey, buddy, who are you?
I'm the janitor here.
Oh. Well, anyway, now we can get out. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hiya, fellas.
Mary, this is the first time you've been so late. Where were you?
I was outside talking to a couple of sailors.
Well, Mary, I hope you didn't overdo it like the last time we played at a naval base. You talked to a sailor, and in 5 minutes, his whole face was marked with lipstick.
Jack, sailors don't refer to those marks as lipstick. They call them campaign ribbons.
Mary, campaign ribbons are something you get after a battle.
Well, I put up a little fight. Say, Jack, how's the show going?
Oh, great. And you should have been here. I pulled a wonderful gag before. I said they used Phil's blood for back rubs.
Well, you're a fine one to talk.
What do you mean?
You donated a pint of blood. They gave it to a soldier. It made him so cheap, he shot a Jap, then ran after him to get the bullet back.
Well, they don't call me Get the Lead Out Benny for nothing. I love that. I wouldn't take that gag out for anything. Now, there's a joke I intended to leave in the script. I love that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our feature attraction this evening, I, Jack Benny, will play a violin solo. My selection...
Oh, say, Jackson, I saw you play the fiddle in that picture, Hollywood Canteen.
Oh, did you, Phil? I'm going to see it tonight.
Oh, no, Jack, not again.
Yes, Mary, and you're going with me.
But, Jack, we saw it last night for the 12th time.
I know, but who can enjoy it under those circumstances?
Why? What happened, Jack?
Oh, I'd rather not talk about it.
Come on, Jackson, tell us about it.
Well, I had a date to take Mary to see the picture. It was early in the evening, and I was in my hotel getting ready to go out. In fact, at the moment, I was taking a bath, you know. Oh, boy, there's nothing like a good hot bath. Showers are all right, but if you want to relax, soak in a tub. Just look at my feet. How'd they get so dirty? I better scrub them. I wonder what it could be. It doesn't seem to... Oh, darn it, I forgot to take my socks off. Oh, well, you can't think of everything.
Say, boss, I just finished ironing your shirts and your shorts.
Good. Gee, this water's nice and warm.
Do you want me to get you some socks, or will you wear the ones you have on?
Don't be silly. What are you laughing at?
You with that bathing cap on, you look like Charlie's Aunt at the seaside. What do you wear that thing for, boss?
Well, you don't think I want to get my hair wet, do you?
No, and you won't unless you splash some water into the top bureau drawer.
Rochester, stop with that. Now pick up the washcloth and scrub my back.
Okay.
Ah, that feels good. Keep it up. Say, Rochester, sitting in this water reminds me. Did I ever tell you about the time I was in the Navy and they gave me a medal because I was...
Thousands of times, boss, thousands of times.
Oh.
But you tell it different every time, so go ahead.
No, I'll think up a new... never mind. If you're not interested in hearing about me when I was a sailor, it's okay.
I'm sorry, boss.
What a sailor I was. I joined the Navy, and it was promotion after promotion. In no time, I was a rear admiral, commanding the ship, sailing the 7 seas. And I remember one time... Rochester, stop rippling the water. It's making me seasick. Now, where was I?
You were a seasick rear admiral.
Never mind. Now get busy and finish washing my back.
Okay. You and me, we sweat and strain, working all day and racked with pain.
Rochester.
Tote that brush, lift that soap. Sometimes I wish I was with Bob Hope.
No, every week you want to be with somebody else. Last week you wanted to be with Fibber Magee.
Love that man.
Oh, you like everybody. Now stand back while I... There's the door. You see who it is, and I'll dress in here.
Yes, sir. Do you want me to get your girdle, boss?
Girdle? Rochester, I've asked you not to call it that.
Oh, yes. You want me to get your foundation garment, boss?
No, I won't need it. I'm going to wear my baggy tweeds. Now go. Hurry up and see who's at the door.
Yes, sir. Oh, hello, Miss Livingston. Come in.
Well, thank you, Rochester. Where's Mr. Benny?
He'll be out in a minute. He's getting dressed.
Oh. Say, Rochester, you're glad we're in New York, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever I can, I go up to Harlem. You know, Miss Livingston, last week I met a girl up there that's the most beautiful thing you've ever saw.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. She looks like Lena Horne accentuating the positive.
Well, she really must be pretty. Does she work up there?
Yeah, she works in a nightclub. She's a cigarette girl.
The cigarette girl?
Yeah, and she means as much to me as LSMFT.
Oh, Rochester.
She came to my table, smiled at me, and I bought every package of Lucky Strike she had.
You did?
Yeah, then I took an option on next year's crop.
Rochester, I've never heard you talk this way about a girl. Do you think you'll marry her?
Well, that'll be discussed with the next meeting of the Big Three.
The big three?
Yeah, she, me, and her husband.
Oh, well, if that's the way it is, I don't think that you'll ever have
Hello, Mary. I'll be ready as soon as I get my hat and coat. Here we are.
Where you going, boss?
We're going to see my picture, Hollywood Canteen.
But, boss, you were there this afternoon.
I don't care. I want to see how I look at night. Come on, Mary, let's go.
62 stars, and he calls it his picture.
All right. Come on. Yeah, Mary, look at that line of people waiting to buy tickets to the box office. And gosh, they're all sailors.
Jack, they're not waiting to buy tickets. That's the overflow of the St. Albans pay line.
Oh. Well, here's the theater line. Let's get on the end of it.
Okay.
Pardon me, mister.
Stop your shoving. Stop your shoving.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get on the ticket line.
Okay.
Say, mister, have you read what the movie critics said about this picture?
Nope.
Well, they said, quote, Hollywood Canteen, jammed with a star-studded cast, is one of Hollywood's finest pictures. Among the many entertaining performers are Betty Davis, Eddie Cantor, Barbara Stanwyck, Jack Carson, Jane Wyman, and Jack Benny, who personally contributes one of the most hilarious bits in the picture by his violin...
Shut up!
What?
I don't care what the reviews say. I'm just going in here to get out of the cold.
How do you like that fresh guy, Mary? He can't even be sociable. I only try to tell him what the critics said.
Well, don't take it to heart, Jack, and close your scrapbook.
Okay. Oh, Mary, look, isn't that cute? That little boy's trying to buy a ticket. He can hardly reach the box office window. Oh, Sonny. I'll help you, Sonny.
Jack, stop calling him Sonny. That's Mayor LaGuardia.
Oh, Darn it, I always make that mistake.
How many, please?
Huh? Oh, yes, miss. Were there 2 passes left here for me? I'm the star of this picture.
Well, I'll see. I'm sorry, but there are no passes for you, Miss Davis.
What? Wait a minute. I'm not Betty Davis. I'm Jack Benny. That's who I am, Jack Benny.
Jack, she believed you. Stop opening your scrapbook.
All right.
Come on, Jack, be a sport and buy 2 tickets.
All right. Here you are, miss. 2 tickets, please.
Yes, sir. Here's your tickets and here's your change.
Wait a minute, sister. Wait a minute. You charge me evening prices instead of matinee prices.
But, Mr. Benny, our prices change at 5 o'clock, and it's 7 o'clock now.
So what? I come from California, and it's only 4 o'clock out there. And another thing.
Jack, look who's coming down the street. It's Fred Allen in Portland. Gosh, I haven't seen Porty in a long time.
Well, I'm not going to stand here and see Fred Allen. Come on, let's go inside.
Watch out, Portland. The sidewalks are pretty slippery.
Don't worry, Mr. Allen. I've got hold of your arm. Gosh, look what's playing at this theater.
Well, what do you know? Benny's Picture. They waited till they put the lights out on Broadway, and then they sneaked it into town.
And say it, Mr. Allen.
Now, Portland, we're not on the radio now, so stop calling me Mr. Allen. We've been eased out of more hotels that way. And anyway, who wants to see Benny's Picture? I've seen more entertaining pictures tattooed on a sailor's arm.
Oh, Fred, you're off the air now. Why do you keep on hating Jack?
It's because he's so jealous. Now, you won't believe this, Portland, but when other entertainers become famous, Benny instantly tries to steal their stuff.
Really?
Of course. You remember when Fritz Chrysler became... I thought there was no R in it. When Fritz... it's another month, I thought it was... When Fritz Chrysler... When Fritz Chrysler became famous, I had it mixed up with an old oyster opener I used. When Fritz Chrysler became famous, famous, Benny took up the violin. When Sinatra became popular, Benny took a course in malnutrition. And do you remember last year when Benny had pneumonia?
Yes.
He caught it trying to imitate Gypsy Rose Lee. Benny's chest is so narrow, pneumonia had to set in sideways.
Well, Fred, if Jack tries to remain popular, then at least you've got to admit that he uses his head.
Well, of course he uses his head. He's got to have something to separate his neck from his toupee.
Benny does with his old toupees.
Oh, who knows? Maybe he gives them to Gravel Gertie.
Oh, Fred, you're always picking on Jack. If it isn't his hair, you call him a tightwad.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't start that rumor. Even the tightwads call Benny a tightwad. Why, I remember one summer when Jack was out on a dude ranch, he kept his money in a wildcat's mouth. Frank Buck had to go with him if he wanted to spend anything. Anyway, Portland, to show you I'm a sport, I'll take you in to see Benny's Picture. Here's the box office. Oh, miss.
Yes, sir. How many, please?
Forgive me for interrupting your nap, miss, but I'd like 2 tickets.
Yes, sir. That's $2.40.
$1.20 a ticket to see Jack Benny's Picture?
But there are 62 stars in the picture, sir.
Oh, 60. That makes Benny cost me 2 cents. Brother, inflation is sure here. Come on, boy.
The picture's pretty good so far, Jack.
Uh-huh.
You come on near the end of the picture, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Jack, put out that flashlight and stop reading your scrapbook.
Okay, but look at the review I got in the St. Joe Gazette. Ah, they love me in St. Joe.
Jack, be quiet. The people who just sat down behind us want to see the picture. And stop bobbing around.
Mary, if they don't like the...
Pardon me, mister.
What do you want, Bud?
It's kind of hard for me to see the picture. Will you please do me a favor and remove your head?
Wise guy. Who do you think you're talking to?
Jackie, boy, you're losing your temper.
Oh, it's you, Alan.
Why, Jack, you seem surprised to see me.
I am surprised. I thought that after you saw your shadow on Friday, you crawled back into your hole.
You know, Jack, if I didn't have such great respect for old age, I'd punch you right in the nose.
Attaboy, hit him, Fred.
Listen, Al, if you start anything with me, I'll slug you right back.
Attaboy, hit him, Fred.
Mary, you're on my side.
Oh, Jack, look, this is the part of the picture you're in.
Quiet, quiet. Everybody shut up. This is the part I came here to see. Madam, will you please make that baby keep quiet? I can't hear the picture.
Why don't you keep quiet yourself? I can't hear my baby.
What?
Attaboy, hit him with the baby, lady.
Madam, you have no right to bring a baby to the theater.
Imagine a man complaining because an itsy-bitsy baby cries. Just because it's cold and hungry.
It's all your fault, Alan. I'm sitting here minding my own business and going to see it. When you had to stop the picture, the last thing I do, I'm going to say, I don't care what happens. You come the next time you get in my way, I'm going to haul off and give you that towel. Well, I don't care. I'm here to see the picture. Wait a minute. I came here to see my picture. How do you like that? The lights are on and the picture is over. Come on, Mary, let's go.
Oh, let's stay and see the newsreel.
I'm not in the newsreel. Now, let's get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, the recently revised program by the OPA for food rationing is again in the spotlight. We all know why rationing is necessary. Simply to give each of us a fair share of the items that are short. The needs of our armed forces are steadily growing, and right now more than ever, they must have the things our country can supply. Now here's how you and I can support rationing. Don't buy ration goods without paying ration points in full. Refuse to pay more than ceiling prices. Destroy canceled ration stamps. Don't give them to anybody. Whenever possible, buy low point or no point foods. Thank you very much.
Jack, we'll be back in just a minute, but first, here is my good friend, Effie Boone.
Sold American.
It takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco Lucky Strike.
Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. The finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
The famous tobacco auctioneers heard on tonight's program are Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina. Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 45, sold American.
Basil Rysdale speaking for Lucky Strike. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Thanks very much, fellas, for inviting us here to the St. Albans Naval Hospital. We enjoyed doing our program for you. And next Sunday night, folks, we'll be broadcasting from the Glenview Naval Air Station, Glenview, Illinois. And 2 weeks from today, we'll be in good old St. Joe.
Ah, St. Joe. They love me there.
It's not you, it's me. Good night, folks.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Tales of espionage are coming at you with CounterSpy next.
The National Broadcasting Company presents CounterSpy.
Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy. Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy.
Harding, CounterSpy. Calling Washington.
United States counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
These CounterSpy reports to the American people are brought to you each week at this time. Now, the case of the pseudo-spuds.
Yeah, just a minute.
Hello, Johnny.
Silky, well, come on in.
Nice joint you got here.
For what New York offers, it'll do. How's with you, Silky? Long time no see.
Getting by.
Who you looking for, Lily?
Never met her. Just heard about her. Like to see her. She home?
No, she's got one more show to do at the club tonight. Be here in about half an hour.
Half an hour, huh?
Yeah, stick around.
You know, I could never figure the story on her.
What do you mean, Silky?
Well, here she has Dirk Martin on the string. Biggest gambler in town, fur coats, jewels, anything she wants. And she blows them all for you.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, look, let's not kid ourselves. You're no big-timer. You're just a small-time hood liable to get his head blown off any minute. What's the secret, Johnny?
I'll show it to you.
Wedding ring, huh? That's right. I heard you got married.
It's as simple as that, Silky.
Too bad Dirk didn't know the secret.
Look, Silky, I don't like the way the conversation's going. What's on your mind?
I guess you ain't heard, kid.
Heard what?
I'm working for Dirk Martin now.
Working for Martin? I didn't even know you knew him.
Didn't you?
So he's still peeved about Lily?
No, he ain't peeved, Johnny.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
He just hates your guts. That's why he sent me around.
We're going over, huh?
It ain't that simple, Johnny. He wants Lil back.
Oh, he does. Well, let him try to get her to leave me.
Yeah, Dirk figures she won't. That's why you're going to leave her. Permanently.
Johnny? Johnny, you home? I've got... Johnny? Johnny!
Car number 14. Car number 14. This is a 3-2 signal. Investigate report of murder, 413 East Houston Street. Car number 14. Car number 14. Investigate report of murder.
Johnny. Johnny?
A place can become lonely all of a sudden, can't it?
What?
I suppose I shouldn't intrude at a time like this, Mrs. Darvell.
What do you want? Who are you?
A friend, I hope. And I think I want the same thing as you do.
Same thing.
Johnny's murderer. I heard the flash on the radio the other day.
Johnny, do you know who it was?
Yes.
Who? Tell me.
Easy, Mrs. Darvell. I can't prove anything. I just know it from the grapevine.
Who? What's his name?
Can't you guess?
Everybody liked Johnny. He didn't...
Everybody except Dirk Martin.
Dirk.
That's the word that's out.
Dirk.
A gun, Mrs. Darvell? That's hardly the smart thing.
Get out of my way.
Wait till I close the door.
Don't try and stop me, whoever you are. I should have known it was Dirk.
Look, Mrs. Darvell, my name is Gordon, Silky Gordon. I want to get Martin, too, but not the stupid way. That's why I came here. Now, I think that both of us can work together and be in the clear.
If you're trying to stop me...
I'm trying to help you. How'd you like to take Dirk Martin for a bundle of dough, frame him on a federal rap that he'll never get out of, and stay in the clear yourself? That's the real way to even things up for your, Johnny.
All right, Gordon. Talk.
Place your bets, all bets down.
Am I too late to put a blue chip on number 6?
No, madam, you can... Lily.
Hello, Baldy.
Pay 15 on the red.
Upset, Baldy?
No, glad to see you, Lil, but it's busy. Place your bets, all bets down.
Hello, Mrs. Darvell. Anything we can do for you?
Dirk Martin. I
$8
thought
flag.
Baldy would push his little button when he saw me. You came promptly enough.
I asked if there's anything we could do for you, Mrs. Darvell.
Well, you might offer me a drink.
Of course, Mrs. Darvell. Let's sit in that end booth. Hey, Mike. 1 martini dry with olive. Yeah. That's it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I heard about Johnny. Too bad.
Yeah. Leaves me kind of on the town again.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Well, what's the point of this call?
Money?
Oh? Isn't that kind of blunt, Lily? After all, you gave me the go-by for Johnny. If he didn't leave you fixed, that's too bad.
Oh, I'm not asking you for any, Dirk. I'm offering you a way to make some, with me in for a cut. I can use dough right now.
Yeah, so I imagine. Well, what's the pitch?
What do you think of the war situation?
Huh?
Making conversation.
Well, that came from right field.
Well, what do you think of the international situation?
Bad, I suppose. Sometimes good, but mostly bad. Why?
Depends on how you look at it.
That means what?
There's one way to look at it that might mean close to $1 million in cash for us.
$1 million?
If you're not above such petty sums, Dirk, you can find out more about it at my apartment tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Good night.
Hey, wait a minute, Lily.
Sorry, Dirk. Good night.
Harding, all the heads of our regional CounterSpy offices are assembled in the auditorium.
How good, Peters. Have arrangements been made to fly them back to their offices as soon as the meeting's over?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go.
Right.
Gentlemen, Mr. Harding. Greetings, gentlemen. It's been quite some time since I've seen all our CounterSpy regional directors together like this. But I've called you here for briefing and information regarding the grave foreign situation. But first, a bit of good news. Our CounterSpy budget has been increased considerably, enough so that each regional office can have almost twice the number of agents you are now staffed with. This increase has been granted for a definite purpose. The United States wants to make sure that there will be no repetition of the scrap metal to Japan situation at this particular time. The additional personnel will be used to check all export shipments leaving this country. All suspicious shipments will be reported to this headquarters immediately for further action. That is all, gentlemen. The rest of your instructions are in the mimeograph pamphlet handed to you.
Ah, 10 a.m. on the dot, Dirk. You're prompt.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I was sure you would be. Come in. I want you to meet someone.
Meet someone. What do you mean?
Relax, Dirk. It's not the law, and it's no one you know.
Lily, if this is a joke...
Dirk, I'd like you to meet...
Well, Lily, is this the fellow you was telling me all about? Hiya, stranger. Shake.
Shake?
Yes, Gordon's the name. G-O-R, Gordon. Little joke of my own. I never have to spell it out.
No?
Say, that's a mighty good grip you got there. Stand up to any man in Idaho, except me.
So what do you want?
I hope I didn't hurt you, boy. I got a powerful grip myself. Get it from farming, you know. It strengthens the wrist.
Mr. Gordon, would you get me my cigarettes? They're in the kitchen.
Why, sure thing, little gal. In 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I'll be right back.
What was that?
Like him?
A plow jockey. Who likes or doesn't like?
Well, I
What's
thought
the
that
play,
you-
Lily? First you mention the international situation and then $1 million. Now you spring this hayseed on me.
I heard that, boy. Hayseed, is it? Now, look, mister, I like your looks, but I don't allow no man to insult me.
Take it easy, Gordon. I didn't
All
insult.
right, Silky, drop the act. Save it for the paying customer.
Okay, Lily. Look, I got him a little white around the gills. I thought he thought I was going to take a swing at him. Huh?
Hey, what is this, huh?
Meet Silky Gordon, one of the best con men in the business.
Hiya, Martin. How'd you going, huh?
Yeah. Hey, Lily,
Silky will take over from here. He's got an idea that his act and your dough will net us $1 million to split 3 ways.
How?
In one word, potatoes.
What?
Those little things you fry, boil, or mash.
And that I grow out on my Idaho farm and supposedly deal in.
Potatoes? You mean $1 million out of spuds? Ah, you're crazy.
So's a fox. I've got the whole scheme mapped out on paper.
All we need is that old warehouse of yours and $50,000 operating capital.
What do you say?
Well, what am I supposed to say? Yes, on what you told me? For 50 grand, I want more information than that.
Sure. Take your time. Here's a setup. Read it.
Okay. Give me a short rundown on it.
Potatoes, Martin, price supported by Uncle Sam. You know this?
So?
This means the government buys them to keep the market price up to a certain level.
Yeah?
At present, $1.50 to, $1.80 a 100 pounds.
Yeah, I've heard tell of this.
And then they sell them for export at 1 cent a 100 pounds just to get rid of them.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, we buy them for that. 1 cent a 100 pounds, you see? And then sell them right back to the government again at $1.50 a 100 pounds.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah, just like that.
Simple, isn't it, Dirk?
But wait a minute. You said we had to buy them for export to get them at 1 cent a 100 pounds.
That's right. We'll swear that we intend to dehydrate the potatoes. That is, dry them and export.
I'm following you.
Instead, we'll fill cardboard cartons with sawdust, label them dehydrated potatoes, and ship them to a stooge company in Europe, selling the real potatoes back to Uncle Sam at 10 or 12,000% profit.
Nice. Real nice.
Are you in, Dirk?
Maybe yes. Now, give me a little time. I want to read this stuff Gordon gave me and figure the angles.
Take a lot of time. Uncle Sam will still have the potatoes to sell.
Call me here when you decide, Dirk. I'll be waiting, and I'm sure you'll be calling. Hello.
Dirk, Lily.
I knew you'd call. Are you in?
Yeah. I'm having the boys clean out the warehouse.
And, what about the $50,000 capital?
You'll get it in a couple of days.
Oh, that's the way we like to do business, Dirk.
And tell Silky to start the ball rolling. And Lily, remember, I'll be watching you all the way.
I'm sure you will. Goodbye.
There, Cliff?
Yes, Silky.
He bit?
With all his teeth, the rat.
Wonderful. When's he coming across with the 50 G's?
In a couple of days.
And as soon as we get his dough, we start fitting him for the frame.
That's what I'm in this for, Silky. And it better be one he can't break out of.
He won't, baby. We'll work the deal just once with 50,000 bags of potatoes. I've got the contacts in Washington, so I can sell that many to the government.
What do I do?
Now, I've gotten in touch with a logging camp for the sawdust and cartons. You close the deal with them, and then apply for the export license for dehydrated potatoes in Dirk's name.
I'm beginning to get the picture.
And then, after I've collected from the government,
We leave Mr. Dirk Martin holding one big, empty bag.
You are listening to the case of the pseudo spuds on CounterSpy. Tonight on NBC, it's the big show once again over most of these stations. Tallulah Bankhead is your MC, and just listen to a few of the stars who will be with you tonight. Bob Hope, Eddie Cantor, Jimmy Durante, Perry Como, Jose Ferrer, Mendy Carson, Meredith Wilson and his orchestra, and a host of other great performers. For an hour and a half of the best in comedy, music, and drama, it's the big show tonight. Another Sunday evening favorite is Theater Guild on the Air. And this week's hour-long Theater Guild production is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, starring Frederick March, Barbara Bel Geddes, and Hugh Williams. The chimes are your invitation to top Sunday evening listening here on NBC. Now, back to CounterSpy.
Hello?
Lil, old Farmer Gordon speaking.
Silky, you hear anything yet?
I just got an acknowledgement of receipt from the government. They got my shipment of 50,000 bags of fine Idaho potatoes.
Well, what about the payment?
Well, I'll receive the check in 15 days at my Idaho farm address.
Ah, nice going, Silky.
How's your end of the deal? The sawdust going?
It's all down at the warehouse in cartons now, ready to be the frame around Dirk's neck.
We'll put it there as soon as we cash that check from Uncle Sam. So long, Lil. You'll be hearing from me when I need you.
New York CounterSpy section from Export Section, Commerce Department. Export license sought for shipment dehydrated potatoes at present stored in warehouse at 91241 10th Street. Request routine check and approval your department before granting license.
Silky,
Right here, Lil. In the warehouse door.
have you got the stuff?
2 5-gallon cans. How about the insurance?
I took it out in Dirk Martin's name.
No action on the export license yet?
Not so far.
Well, I was just wondering. Thought they might send someone around to check on the stuff.
They only do that at the pier. Let's go in. You sure Dirk won't yell copper?
How can he? When we put this place on fire, he's going to have a mighty suspicious insurance company on his hands. He'll probably have to waive the claim, but it'll keep him plenty busy while we make ourselves scarce.
All right, let's What?
Listen.
Someone...
Look. Down that aisle of cartons. A guy. Prying into
Who could be?
Customs Department, I bet.
If he finds out about the sawdust...
I know what you mean.
Listen, Silky.
Yeah?
I'll go down and get his attention. You come round the back and jump him.
Right.
You there.
What?
What's the meaning of this? Who are you?
Oh, excuse me, miss.
What are you doing in this warehouse? How'd you get in?
Are you connected with the firm that owns this place, miss?
Yes, I am. And I think it's my place to ask the questions, or would you rather I call an officer?
Well, that won't be necessary. You see,
Now,
I'm the...
Silky,
Let go of me! You... Oh, no. No, you don't.
Your knife, Silky, your knife.
Brother, he was plenty tough.
Is he?
Yeah, dead.
Who is he?
Wait. I'll look through his pockets. Uh-oh.
What?
United States CounterSpy. This ain't good, Lil.
It's wonderful. Perfect. Dirk can take the rap for this, too.
Yeah, that's right. I'll get the kerosene cans.
And spill it all around, Silky.
Don't worry. When we put a match to this place, we want to make sure the whole thing goes up.
Operator, get me the fire department quick. There's a fire in the warehouse at 10th and Front Street. This is the watchman on the pier across the way. You'd better get here quick. It's blazing. It's going up. The whole place is going up. Up here now.
Attention, Mr. Harding, CounterSpy headquarters. Attention, Mr. Harding, CounterSpy headquarters. This is an emergency 3-2 flash.
Peters, grab your hat and come on. The plane's waiting.
Where we going?
New York. Warehouse fire. Explosion of export shipment.
Where till I catch up there? Sabotage?
I don't know. All I've got's the warehouse address and the nature of the shipment. Dehydrated potatoes.
Potatoes?
Supposed to be. The CounterSpy agent was examining the shipment at the time of the fire and explosion. There's no news of him yet. Now, when we land, Peters, you follow up on the material I'll give you. I'm going right to our New York laboratory and see what they've got.
Over this way, Mr. Harding, to our electric furnace.
Right with you, Colonel. What's this set up for?
Well, that cardboard carton in the electric furnace, it's one that was salvaged from the warehouse fire.
Contains munitions of some type, doesn't it?
No, sir.
But the explosion...
Watch, Mr. Harding. I'll switch the furnace on.
What's the point?
Just a moment, sir. I had the furnace on before you arrived. It'll be up the right temperature in a few seconds. There, that's what I wanted you to see.
What kind of explosive is it?
It isn't, sir. That cardboard box that just blew apart contained ordinary sawdust packed in tightly.
Sawdust?
That's right, sir. Sawdust packed tight and under intense heat generates its own explosive power. With the right conditions, it's just as dangerous as dynamite.
Not dehydrated potatoes or munitions.
No, sir. But there's something crooked about the whole setup. Our agent...
Yeah?
Well, the autopsy shows he wasn't killed by the fire. He was murdered. Knife wounds.
Murdered. What about the sawdust? Have you analyzed it yet?
Yes, sir. We put it through the spectrograph, did a microchemical analysis on it. The reports are over here.
Ordinary pine sawdust.
That's right. The pitch content indicates southern pine. And from the cellular structure of the wood, we place it as coming from somewhere in Georgia or the Carolinas.
Oh?
The moisture content indicates it's been freshly cut from logs instead of dried and cured wood.
That means that the stuff came from a logging camp, not a lumberyard.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, Crandall. If anything else comes up, I'll be in the communications room. To all field offices, Southern Regional District, United States CounterSpies. Request immediate check of all logging camps in your field area. Ascertain methods of disposal and sale of sawdust. Check thoroughly and report to me on any new purchasers of item. Give this top priority.
Hello, Chief.
Peters, where have you been?
Checking on the ownership of that warehouse and the potato shipment.
Any difficulty?
A lot less than I expected. The warehouse is owned by a set of dummy corporations set up to hide the real owner, one Dirk Martin.
The gambler?
That's right. And that shipment of potatoes was bought and supposedly dehydrated by the same Mr. Martin.
Oh, hidden ownership again.
Right, Dave, but not very cleverly done.
Hey, wait, hold it a second, please. Hello? Tackett from the Atlanta field office? Okay, put him on. Hello, Tackett. Yes, that's right, the sawdust. Oh, you did? Good. Who bought it? No, that company name isn't familiar. Did you find out who owns and runs it? Good, who? What? You're sure? Okay, Tackett, nice job. Goodbye.
What is it, Dave?
Peters, you knew about the sawdust in the explosion.
Yes, Crandall told me.
Well, that, too, points the finger at Dirk Martin. He bought it.
Martin?
Yes.
It doesn't wash, Chief. We know Martin's record. He's a real cozy bird. He doesn't leave loose ends around this way.
3 big neon-lighted arrows pointing right at him.
Dave, I may be wrong, but this shapes up like a great big frame.
I know it does, Peters, and I think we'll call on Dirk Martin right away and see if we can find the picture that fits the frame.
Silky, get that. I've got to finish packing.
Pretty insistent, whoever it is.
Well, open the door. That's the only way we can leave anyway.
I don't like it, Lil. You open it. I'll cover you from behind the door.
Dirk.
That's right, baby. Inside.
What's the idea, Dirk?
You tell me what the idea is. My boys got word to me the warehouse is on fire, burned down.
No kidding, Dirk.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
But that's wonderful, a break for all of us. Now we're completely covered. The fire will hide everything. There's one phony shipment of sawdust we won't have to make.
Was it phony?
What do you mean?
You said sawdust, and the place blew up completely. Maybe you were trying to use me as a front for some other kind of shipment, eh?
Don't be crazy, Dirk.
And maybe you know something about the body they found in the fire.
Body?
Yeah. Look, baby, you'd better start talking. Or I'm going to have to slap a lot of words out of you.
I wouldn't, Dirk. I had you covered from the minute you entered.
So I was right. A big double cross.
That's right, Dirk.
You caught on a little too fast.
What do we do with him, Lil?
Guess there's only one thing we can do.
Same treatment like the guy in the warehouse?
So you did start that fire?
That's right, Dirk. We had it all framed nicely. You'd have to stand still for an arson rap and keep quiet about us, or you'd get a bigger jolt for swindling. They might even have pinned that guy's death on you. That's one way you would have paid for killing Johnny.
Johnny? Are you nuts?
Tell him, Silky. Tell him what you told me about how he killed Johnny.
Me kill Johnny?
Yes, you wanted me back. It was the only way you figured I'd come.
Look, Lily, there isn't a quail in the world I'd risk a murder rap for. I didn't shoot your Johnny boy.
Silky, you said that
Shouldn't believe everything I say, Lil. I needed you to pull this racket on Dirk. Getting you through Johnny was the fastest way.
You killed him.
That's right, baby. And it looks like the same deal for you and Dirk Martin, so there'll be no more talking. Martin has already talked.
What?
Oh,
What? United States CounterSpy.
Why, you stinking squealing little...
He's out of action, Chief.
You'd better not try the same move, Mrs. Darvell.
So Dirk Martin's a stoolie.
You bet I am, baby, when it comes to standing still for a murder rap.
Did he tell you everything? Did he tell you about the deal?
He did, Mrs. Darvell, all about your big swindle, stealing money from the government at the expense of our fighting men, at a time when we need every dollar for defense, and he's going to stand trial for it.
But not for murder, baby. You can take that one alone.
All right, Peters, take them both out of here.
Tune in every week, same time, same station, to CounterSpy. Listen next week for the exciting case of the hideous hijacker.
When medical supplies, sorely needed by our fighting men and allies in Asia, were hijacked, the CounterSpy organization was put on a double alert. By getting information from a dead man, firing bullets into sawdust, and putting cardboard under a strange light, your counterspies uncovered a kettle of fish that was 15,000 miles long. Be sure to listen next week to
The Case of the Hideous Hijacker on CounterSpy. Tonight's CounterSpy program originated in New York, was directed by Marks B. Loeb, dramatized by Palmer Thompson, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer. Lionel Rico speaking. CounterSpy is a Phillips H. Lord production. Three chimes mean good times on NBC.
Hey, man, how about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
That Milk Program with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryant, Dick LeGrand, Ann Diamond, Tyler McVeigh, Dick Bryan, Lillian Lee, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Most women are looking for ways to make their money go further. And one sure way to cut down on the food bill is still give your family the nourishing meals that mean so much, is to use Pet evaporated milk. To make meat go further, for example, mix Pet milk and breadcrumbs with ground meat for making good, juicy meat loaf or meat patties. Use Pet milk, too, for rich, creamy, smooth sauces for creamed meats or vegetables. And use pet milk for making milk drinks for the youngsters. Good, nourishing drinks like hot cocoa, for instance. Remember, whole milk is nature's most nearly perfect food. And pet milk is whole milk concentrated to double richness. Not only that, pet milk costs less generally than any other form of whole milk. Get into the habit of using pet milk in the many ways it can be used for making favorite family dishes extra good, extra nourishing. You save money when you do. Get pet milk at your grocer's tomorrow. There is a certain affliction which seems to hit middle-aged men with little pot bellies and mushy muscles who keep bragging about what wonderful shape they're in. It's called athlete's mouth. And listen to a big, loud one as we meet Fibber, Magee, and Molly.
That's why I'm going bowling tonight with Wilcox and Latrivia. It's a matter of health. Keeps me in condition. Muscle tone. You know what muscle tone is?
Certainly. That's when a cat's biceps wind up as a violin string. And I'm afraid yours would all be G flat.
Oh, no, they wouldn't. I'm in a pretty darn good shape for a guy my age, and you know why?
Yes, because you conserve your strength.
That's it.
You let me pick your yesterday's shirt up off the bedroom floor.
It's because, my dear, I take proper exercise at regular intervals. Bowling. Do you know that bowling exercises almost every muscle in the body?
No. The neck muscles, too?
Oh, especially the neck muscles. Why, I've developed a regular bull neck just from peeking at the score sheet in the next alley. Trying to find out how other people are doing.
Well, all right. Let's admit, for the sake of discussion, that you've got muscles like cement.
You betcha.
Rubber cement. But what are you trying to sell me, dearie?
I ain't trying to sell you anything. I'm merely suggesting that you ought to take as good a care of yourself as I take care of mine. So look, put on a pair of tennis shoes, join I and Wilcox and Latrivia, and come bowling. You got to keep in condition as well as me.
Well, come in.
Hey, that's Ole from the Elks. Hi, Ole.
Hello, Ole.
Well, hello, Magee. Hello, missus. I just thought I'd stop in on my way back from the doctor's.
The doctors? Have you been ill, Ole?
Oh, no. I used to go in for a semi-annual choke-up.
Check-up, you mean?
Check up till I get the bill, then I choke up.
Well, I'm glad it was just a routine examination, Ole. I hope you came out with flying colors.
No, I came out with a fellow named Jorgensen. He had a skull fracture.
My gosh, a skull fracture?
No, a skull fracture.
Oh?
He's in Yo's Tavern, and he raises his glass, and he says skull to the waitress. And the bartender, who's the waitress' husband, hits Jorgensen with his stein.
Well, how did your examination culminate, Ole?
Oh, it culminated all right, missus, but it don't turn out so good. Doc Gamble says I got blood pressure.
Hi, Ole.
Hi, Magee. Then he counts my blood and says I don't get too many white blood corporals.
Hello, Ole?
Hello, missus. Nice to see you. Then the doctor, he wraps a gray bandage around my elbow and he pumps my arm up with a well bicycle pump. You know, I guess I hold air pretty good, because he said my cardigan condition was very good.
Cardiac condition, Ole.
Yes, cardigan is a sweater.
Sure, I'm quite a cardigan myself, and I shovel coal at the Scrubs furnace all winter. A real sweater. But then he finished the examination, and he makes out his bill. And what a bill.
Hi, Ole.
Hi, Magee. How's everything? Well, I got to be running along. So long, both you fellas.
Oh, Ole is so cute, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good enough of a guy, but my gosh, a guy that he's been a United States resident of this country as long as Ole has probably been one should ought to make himself a little an effort to learn himself to talk better English, it seems to me.
Well, maybe he could teach some from you. That is, if you're willing to learn him a little.
Well, I bet I could at that. Hey.
Yes?
Look, Ole says he takes a semi-annual medical examination every year. When did you have one last?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Magee. I think it was, now let me see, that last insurance policy was, 1936, I believe it was.
1936, and this is 1951. 15 years. Gee, kiddo, you ought to get yourself checked over. Personally, I keep in fine condition by bowling and stuff, like I and Wilcox and Latrivia are doing tonight. But you don't even know how you feel.
I do, too. I feel fine.
How do you know?
How do I know I feel fine?
Yeah.
Well, I just do, that's all. I feel wonderful.
Now, that's impossible, kiddo. You simply can't know how you feel till you get checked up on. Doc Gamble says you're okay. Okay, then go ahead and feel good. This way, you're just taking advantage of your own ignorance. Come on, let's go down to Doc Gamble's and get yourself looked at. Come on, get your hat. We'll go down to Doc Gamble's.
Billy Mills in the orchestra, and I Am Love.
Hey, sis, how soon can we see the doc? My gosh, we've been here 20 minutes.
Is this an emergency, Mr. Magee?
Absolutely. My wife has waited 15 years to get her health checked up on, and every added minute is...
No, nurse, it is not an emergency. We'll wait. Come on and sit down, Magee.
Oh, gee whiz, I don't see why I didn't...
Dr. Gamble's office? Yes, Mrs. Thompson. You say you think your bill is too big? Well, bring him in and we'll put him on a diet. You're welcome.
Quite busy, isn't it, dearie? Dr. Gamble's office is always crowded like this. You know, he must be the best doctor in town.
Oh, yeah? Well, if he's so good, why do his patients have to keep coming back? Why don't he cure some of them?
Pardon me, sir. Are you through with that magazine?
Huh? Oh, sure. Here you are, Bud. You can have it.
Thanks. You know, I've been coming here every week for a long time.
Oh, that's too bad. You have something chronic, sir?
Oh, I'm in perfect health, madam, but I'm reading a serial in the Saturday Evening Post. Let me see, page 54.
Dr. Gamble's office? Who? Oh, yes, Miss Blick-Thistle. Well, when it says take one pill 3 times a day, it doesn't mean the same pill. You take a different pill each time. Not at all. Goodbye.
Kind of ridiculous. Yeah. Take one pill 3 times a day. Like the guy that didn't know whether he liked olives, so he tied a string on an olive.
Gamble here?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you got? Craps, poker, roulette, blackjack, whatever it is.
Pardon me, sir. This is the office of Dr. George Gamble.
Oh, excuse me.
Like the fellow didn't know if he liked olives, see, so he tied a string on an olive and put it out.
Excuse me. Folks
Are you ahead of me to see the doctor, or am I ahead of you?
Well, I'm sorry we were here first, but if it's something serious...
Oh, no, it's just this epidemic. I came 500 miles to see Dr. Gamble.
Flu, sis?
No, I rode my bicycle. The roads were pretty icy, but
Hey, sis. Come on, does Slasher Gamble know we're waiting out here? My gosh, with all the business he gets from me, you think he'd have...
All right, nurse. Tell Dr. Gamble I'm here for my operation. I'm ready.
Oh, yes, Mr. Tabloid. We're expecting you.
John Tabloid, Molly, the millionaire publisher. He's the
The doctor will be with you in a few minutes, Mr. Tabloid.
In a few minutes. I'm a busy man, nurse. I made an appointment to have my tonsils out at 2 o'clock.
I know, but we're a little
It's 2 o'clock. Tell the doctor to get his instruments ready and yank my tonsils. I'm double parked.
Yes, Mr. Tabloid. Right through that door there.
Right.
Heavenly Daisy, double parks to have his tonsils out.
Yeah. You got right in the door to see Doc, too, while we sat here and wait. What kind of a joint you running here, sis? The more dough you got, the better service you get, huh? Where does that door go to? The operating room?
No, that's the fire escape. 12 floors down and no knob on the outside.
See, McGee? Dr. Gamble plays no favorites. Oh, look. Over there behind the newspaper. Isn't that Mr. Wilcox?
Oh, yeah. Hey, hi, Junior.
Oh, hi, pal. Hello, Molly.
I didn't see you come in, Mr. Wilcox.
Well, I just didn't feel like talking, Molly. I sort of...
Didn't feel like talking? Boy, you must be sick.
You don't look good, Mr. Wilcox. What's the matter?
I don't know, Molly. I just don't feel right. Working too hard, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, you look pale, pal. Yeah. You got a complexion like a tired abalone. You ought to see a doctor and
Well, here comes Dr. Gamble, Mr. Wilcox. Maybe he'll take a look at you.
And he's a fine baby, Margie. You just keep him on that formula I gave you at the hospital. The pet milk formula.
Thanks, Doctor. He just eats like a horse.
Hey, did he say pet milk?
I don't know. Hey, Doc, can we be next? We've been waiting.
Winston, give Mrs. McGarry another copy of that pet milk formula. And, hello, Harlow. I didn't see you.
Did you say pet milk formula, Doc?
Here we go.
For the baby there? Yes, why?
Well, gee whiz, Doc, oh, that name. Pet milk.
Now, wait a minute. Take it easy, Junior. Don't get excited, boy. You're sick.
I raise all my babies on pet milk, son. Helps them to grow up strong and healthy. It keeps them well.
My gosh, he's even got Doc doing it now.
Well, hey, tell me more, Doc. Go on. Tell me more.
Well, there's kind of a legend around this town about Gamble babies being sort of special babies. And I like that.
Yeah?
So I put my babies on the best formula I know, naturally. And that happens to be pet milk.
Sure, Doc, sure. Because pet evaporated milk contains all the milk minerals that children need to grow strong, straight bones and good sound teeth, huh?
Mr. Wilcox, take it easy. Don't crowd yourself. You're not well.
You know, hey, Doc, that pet milk is just good, sweet, whole milk evaporated to double richness with all the bodybuilding milk substances left in and only water taken out. You know that, huh?
Sure, I know what I'm prescribing.
My gosh, look at the color come back to Junior's face, Molly. Lighten up like the front window of Joe's pool room. I never saw such...
Hey, Doc, do you tell these young mothers about how pet milk is always uniformly rich?
Why, sure.
So they know that every feeding with the pet milk formula is just like the previous feeding? No variations in it to upset a tiny tummy?
Yes, I know.
Do they know that a pet milk baby is a happy, healthy baby with every possible chance to grow up strong and sturdy?
Hey, look, be a big... Look, Harlow. Milky, Doc, milky. Look, milky.
Yeah. Yes, pal. Yes, Doc.
Did you want to see me about something? Are you sick or just...
Who, me?
Yeah.
After hearing what you said about pet milk, never felt better in my life, Doc. Great. See you at the bowling alley tonight, pal.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel wonderful.
Strange, lad.
Well, when you know him as well as we do, Doctor, Where did Dr. Gamble go, McGee?
He went back inside, and by George, I'm getting tired of this waiting. It's a good thing it's you that's sick, Molly, because if it was me that was sick, I'd tear this joint apart. I'd kick that door in and raise more cane rock.
Hey, nurse, tell Doc Gamble his car's washed, baby, and hello there, kid.
Hello, Mr. Oldtimer.
Hi, old-timer.
What you doing here, Johnny? You sick, boy?
Of course not. I'm in the punk of condition, old-timer. I'm going bowling tonight. That's what keeps me in shape, boy.
Oh, bowling. I used to love it, Johnny. Matter of fact, I worked as a pin boy at one time.
A pin boy?
Yep. I brung the pins whenever the bowlers busted their suspenders. Interesting work, if you like it. I found it very boring. Had to bring my girlfriend Bessie in here last week. She wasn't feeling good.
Did the doctor look her over?
Yep. The doc examines her and he says, Bessie, he says, I may have to remove your goiter. Bessie says, Doc, if you remove my goiters, my socks will fall down. Oh, that Bessie, she's a car.
Yeah. I've seen her. She's a whole deck.
I had a little cold myself last week, but I got a home remedy for it. Works fine.
A home remedy, huh? What's it like?
It's very simple, daughter. The first sign of a cold, you just take a handful of black powder, tablespoonful of BBs, and a double armload of cattails.
Powder, BBs, and cattails?
Yep. You take them out in the woods at the edge of a pond full of rainwater at the dark of the moon.
The dark of the moon?
Yep. And you sit there and wait till daylight. Then you stick the cattails in the ground, hide in them, ram the powder and the BBs into a 12-gauge shotgun, and shoot yourself.
Shoot yourself?
Yep, you shoot yourself a goose.
Oh.
Take it home, boil it down, spoon off the goose grease, rub it on your chest, go to bed for 3 days, and then call a doctor. Never fails. So long, kid.
Dad it, I'm getting tired of this runaround. If Doc Gamble don't see us within 5 minutes, I'm really...
Mr. and Mrs. Magee, you may go in now.
There, you see? You just have to make a few threats and they wait.
Okay, Molly, I've finished with you. Perfect shape.
Oh, Doctor.
Never mind her shape, Fatso. How's her health?
Well, I guess that's what he meant, dearie. I'm afraid. You see, Dr. McGee's been worried about me because I haven't had a checkup in so long.
Well, it wasn't only that, kiddo. It was them spots all over your face.
Spots?
What spots?
Them little black spots that kept whirling around. I leaned over to pick up a magazine out in the office there, and when I straightened up, Molly had spots all over her face.
Me?
Yeah, and all over her coat, too. And on the wall. Knowing that she don't bowl regular like me and can't be in too good a condition, I
Take
just...
off your coat, McGee.
Oh, dear.
What do you mean, take off my coat? It ain't me that's sick, tummy thumper. I bowl, and the guy that bowls...
Take off your coat.
I'll help you, dearie. Here, now, take it easy.
Ouch! Watch it, Molly. I got a pain in my side there where I fell on the ice yesterday.
Where's the pain? There?
Ow! Quit jabbing me, you big sadist. That hurt.
Well, it ought to hurt. I think your rib's broken. Lie down.
Huh?
His jaw looks a little puffy, too, Molly. You notice that?
Happened yesterday, Doctor.
It was just a busted tooth, Fatso, that's all.
He was cracking pecans, Doctor.
Yeah. And somehow a ball bearing got mixed in with it. I'll see a dentist about... Wow! Stop poking my stomach. I'm not...
Miss Ward, wheel the x-ray in.
Huh?
Bring my stethoscope and cancel all appointments. This may take all day.
Now, wait.
The King's Men and Thou in the Treetop.
Don't look at me, sweetheart, with scorn in your eyes. Been out all night, gonna tell you no lie. Stopped in one place, heard him singing a song, like a lonely sparrow, started singing along, just singing in a tavern all night, sitting in a tavern, in a tavern, singing songs. In walked a blonde, she asked me to dance. I told that blonde that there wasn't a chance. I love my kids, my home, and my beautiful wife. That's the honest truth, dear, and I swear by my life. Kept singing sparrow in the treetop, sparrow in the treetop, oh, he loves his mate. Sparrow in the treetop, sparrow in the treetop, scared of going home because it's too darn late. There's things I am, sweetheart, and things that I ain't. 'Cause I'm a man, and a man is no saint. Won't you forgive? 'Cause I'm telling you true. I was in the tavern, only thinking of you. Just singing sparrow in the treetop, sparrow in the treetop, so he loves his mate. Sparrow in the treetop, sparrow in the treetop, scared of going home because it's too darn late. Sparrow in the treetop, sparrow in the tavern, so he loves his mate. Sparrow in the treetop, scared of going home because it's too darn late.
Hey, ain't you through examining me, Doc? My gosh, I've been in here for an hour, and you've looked at me through everything but a Venetian blind.
Well, it's a good thing he has, too, dearie. Heavenly days. A broken rib, an infected tooth, a bursitis, a slight bronchial condition, and gout.
My final verdict, Eggface, is that you have been dead for 2 weeks.
I have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, haha, you're kidding.
Not by very much, I'm not. Nurse, have those x-rays come back yet?
I can't get them away from the technicians, Doctor. They just keep looking at them and laughing.
I don't blame them. Now, Molly, if you'll hand me that little silver hatchet up there.
Hatchet? Oh, no, you don't. You ain't going to open up my skull with no silver hatchet. By George, I...
Lie down!
Thank you, Molly. I just wanted to show you this. Isn't it pretty?
Oh, it's lovely, Doctor.
Read the inscription.
To Dr. George Gamble, in appreciation of his fine record in Wistful Vista. From the Chamber of Commerce, February 22nd, 1951.
And Washington's birthday. They gave a party for me. Read the other side.
To our own little George. First in war, first in peace, first in the hearts, livers, and kidneys of his Wistful Vista countrymen. Isn't that sweet?
Dad-dratted, how long do I have to lie down here and listen to this chatter? I want to go home. I got a date to go bowling tonight, and I want to...
Look, goober puss. I've got news for you.
Yeah?
You're not going bowling tonight, tomorrow night, nor next week. You're in rotten shape. Nurse, get Mr. McGee's clothes.
Comfy, dearie? Another pillow under your head?
No, I'm all right. Thanks.
Well, I must say you look wonderful. You've got a better color than you've had in a month. Pink as can be.
How's it look now?
Well, good heavens, you're pale again. What happened?
The light was shining onto my face through this police gazette.
Well, I'm sorry you won't be able to go bowling tonight, dearie, but maybe...
Come in. Come in.
Oh, it's his honor. Do come in, Mr. Mayor.
Hi, Latriv. Walk quietly, boy. We got illness here.
Well, if somebody's sick, they'd better get you out of the house and let it quiet down. Come on, Mort, Toots, and Hollow are waiting at the bowling alley for us. We'll go down and get that...
it's himself here that's sick, Mr. Mayor.
It's nothing trivial, though. I'll be up and around in a few days. It's too bad, Latrivia. I know you can't get away very often for bowling, and I thought...
How do you manage to get away for bowling, Mr. Mayor, as busy a man as you are?
There are only 2 ways a public official can get some free time, Molly. 1, get indicted and go to jail. And 2, appoint a committee.
Oh.
A committee is the answer to almost everything. In private life, it's known as passing the buck. In public life, it's called appointing a committee.
Latin word, ain't it, Latriv? Committee?
Greek. Oh. It means a small group of the unfit appointed by the unthinking to undertake the utterly unnecessary.
educated, Mr. Mayor. I bet you know almost everything.
Oh, I'll bet he don't. Who discovered the airplane, Latrivia?
You mean recently? Arthur Godfrey.
You see, Magee, he's so well informed, but being mayor...
Being mayor, I don't have to be well informed. I just have to give fast answers and then go on to something else before anybody can check out. What?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you can't bowl tonight, Magee. This was a match game. We need a foursome, so I've...
Are you thinking the same thing I am, Mr. Mayor?
Yes. You need anything, Magee?
Huh? No, I'm comfortable. Going to try to sleep a while.
Sure you won't need me for a while, dearie.
No, thanks. I'm going to take a little nap and then...
Get his bowling ball, Mr. Mayor. I'll run upstairs and get my flat heels. Phone the alleys. Tell them we're coming. You don't mind, do you, dearie?
Oh, no, go ahead, kid. I'm glad you're finally taking my advice. There's nothing like bowling for Tony.
Fibber and Molly return in just a moment. Some people have the idea that you just can't get from a meatless meal the same nourishment that meat supplies. Well, now, if you feel that way about it, here's a fact worth remembering. Protein, the most important food element supplied by meat, is also supplied by milk. And pet evaporated milk, being double rich whole milk, is twice as rich in protein as ordinary milk. So use pet milk to make your meatless main dishes extra nourishing. Yes, and extra delicious, too. Right now, many grocery stores are featuring a grand meatless main dish called macaroni loaf with creamed tuna. Made with pet milk, it's delicious. As satisfying a main dish as anyone can ask for, and rich in body-building protein. Look for the tested pet milk recipe for macaroni loaf with creamed tuna in your grocery store. And serve your family this good, satisfying...
Well, Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear. Well, the Lone Ranger up next.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo, Silver, the Lone Ranger. In the early days of the western United States, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order. In a few sections of the new territory, he found able sheriffs to assist him. But for the most part, he fought alone against overwhelming odds. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're heading for Council City! Hail, Silver! Away!
A squalid shack several miles from Concho City was the home of Jug Daggett, his wife Hetty, and the thin, undernourished boy of 16, whom they called their son. Jug was known to the district as a drunkard, a bully, and a petty thief. His wife, pale and silent, lived in constant fear of her husband. And the boy, Billy, knew little but harsh commands and worked too much for his strength. One afternoon, Jug, lurching to his feet, roared at his wife.
Where's that no-good kid? Why ain't he back from town? What's that whelp up to? Didn't you hear me, you sniveling fool?
I heard you, Jug.
Then answer up when I'm talking to you.
Jug, the boy ain't been gone hardly an hour yet.
So, now you're going to argue with me, huh? Think you're going to give me some of your lip, huh?
I didn't mean...
I'll show folks around here who's boss.
Jug, please, you're hurting my shoulder. Oh.
Get out from underfoot.
Oh, Chief. Oh, there.
Oh, so there he is. A fine time to be showing up.
Jug, what are you going to do with that whip?
Watch and you'll see.
No, Jug, no. Leave the boy be. He never...
Will you get out of my way?
Please, Jug. One of these days you'll kill the boy.
And serve him right. Where you been?
I hurried back, Pa. Honest, I did.
Don't you lie to me. You took your time of purpose.
I came
I'll
right...
teach you to take advantage when I send you to town.
Don't hit me, please.
Where's that whiskey I sent you for?
Well, I couldn't get it. Mr. Phelps said you'd have to pay him what you owe him first.
So, you take an hour to get to town and back and don't even fetch what I sent you for.
Well, I couldn't help it.
You're getting more worthless all the time.
Come on, Chief.
Hold on.
I got unsaddled.
Come here.
You're going to hit me?
I'll give you a lick and you'll remember till the day you die.
Oh, don't hit
Stand
me.
still.
Please don't hit me, please.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
Stand still, blaster. I'll tie you to the snubbing post. Hey.
Get him, Chief. Go after him, boy.
Quiet that coyote down.
You ain't going to hit me. Get him, Chief. Get him.
Stand back. Hey, he'll trample me.
You've hit me for the last time. I ain't going to stand it no more. I hope he does trample you. Chief hates you just like I do. Get up, Chief. Get him, boy.
Last time I'll kill the critter.
Go ahead, Chief.
I'll show him a thing or two.
Go ahead, Chief.
Jump on me, will you?
Drop that whip.
Look there. A masked man.
Drop that whip before I use it on you.
What's that you said?
I'll take that.
No, you don't. Oh,
There.
Good for you, masked man.
You listen
Why,
to...
you meddling polecat. I'll break you in two for that.
Come ahead.
I'll show you.
You get him. No, leave him to me, Tonto.
Take that. Oh.
What more?
You was just lucky.
I'm waiting.
This time I'll fix... Oh!
You knocked him down, mister. You knocked him down.
Oh, you hit him plenty hard. If you're not satisfied, get to your feet.
You'll pay for that.
Hey!
Watch out. Don't throw.
You asked for it.
I warned you.
Oh, my hand. Oh, you busted my hand.
I didn't. But if I had, it wouldn't have been more than you deserve. Now, clear out.
Don't shoot again.
On your way.
You'll be sorry for this.
One moment.
Well,
I've heard about you before, Jug. I've heard about the way you treat your wife and son.
what business is that of yours?
I'll give you some advice. You're likely planning on getting even with them after Tonto and I are gone. If you are, don't. We won't be gone so far we can't return. Harm either one of them, and I'll make this county too hot to hold you.
You just tend to your own affairs and leave me be.
Gee, stranger. You sure can hit. And that draw of yours. Boy, that was just about the fastest I ever seen.
Did he hurt you, son?
Oh, tain't nothing. Only I guess if you hadn't come, he'd have tanned me good. Gosh, how'd you get here without us seeing you?
Tonto and I saw what was going on from the road. We left our mounts on the other side of the house, so we wouldn't give warning of our approach.
Oh.
Your name's Billy, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Think you could remember something, Billy?
Oh, sure I could, stranger.
Tonto and I have a camp not far from here, and don't bother to look for it. You won't find it.
But if either you or your mother need help,
Yeah?
signal us. We'll come at once.
You mean if Pa gets mean again?
Yes.
Well, he will, all right, stranger. He won't forget what happened, and he'll blame me for it. Well, but how'll I signal you?
Now, let's see. You probably wouldn't have time to build a fire. You don't pack a gun.
I'll tell you what I could do.
Yes?
Pa keeps a spare gun hid on the top shelf of the cupboard. It's always loaded, too. I could signal you with that.
Fire 3 shots.
You'll be able to hear him?
We will. Here, Silver. Here, Scout.
Stranger,
Yes, Billy?
are you and Tonto wanted by the law real bad?
We're not wanted at all.
Oh, but you're wearing a mask.
For reasons of my own. Here, boy. Hip.
Honest to gosh, you ain't crooks?
No, Billy. Why?
Well, I think you're swell. And I sure wouldn't want the law to get you.
Adios. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout. Silver!
The place where the Lone Ranger and Tonto had made camp was less than a mile from Daggett's shack. It could only be reached through a maze of dry arroyo, however. It would have been impossible to find unless one knew the trail beforehand. When they reached camp, they drew rein, but the masked man did not dismount.
Oh, there's Silver. Scout. Oh, what?
Me cook grub.
Eat if you're hungry, Kemosabe. I'm riding on.
Huh? What do?
I've been thinking over what just happened.
Tonto like boy. Father him no good.
I saw the woman watching us from a window while we were there.
Me see her, too.
I wonder if you noticed what I did.
What that?
Billy didn't resemble either one. Not in any way. That boy has good stuff in him, Tonto. If it were allowed to develop.
What you think?
They're not the people who should have the authority to raise a youngster like that. It's not fair to him.
You right.
I'm calling on the sheriff. I'd like to know more about Jug's past. It's possible he'll suggest a way to take Billy out of Jug's hands.
Oh, you not ride to town. There's danger.
I'll have to do it, Tonto.
And me ride, too.
We promised Billy protection. One of us must stay here in case he signals.
But you
Don't
can't...
worry, Kemosabe. It'll be dark by the time I reach Concho. I'll be on guard. And if possible, I'll get the sheriff where he's alone.
No, you not take chance.
I won't. You have my word. And while I'm gone, be alert for a signal. Sooner or later, Jug will break out again.
Me listen.
Good. I'll see you later.
You hurry.
Come on, Silver. Come on.
Bob Roper, the sheriff of Concho City, was an unusual man for the position. Young, wealthy, and well-educated, he had chosen to be a lawman because of a tragedy that had struck his family while he was still a boy, leaving him with a burning hatred for criminals. Early that evening, he rode the length of Concho City's main street, keeping a watchful eye on the town's bustling activity. At the end of the street, he reined up, stopping where the night shadows met the lights cast from the numerous cafes.
Whoa. Whoa there. Oh, boy. Plenty going on in town. Plenty of chances for trouble. I'd better stick
Sheriff.
around. Who said that?
I did.
Where are you?
I'm here in these trees, Sheriff. Right over here out of the light.
Whoa there. Whoa. Who are you?
I think you've heard of me, Bob.
I want to know
At
who
least
you...
we're both fighting for the same thing.
Well, you're masked.
Wait.
Get your hands
Hold
up.
it. There's no need to slap leather. I'm not an outlaw.
Don't try to tell me that.
Or is there a law against wearing a mask?
Now, you've got the drop on me. What are you after?
Information.
What information?
Concerning Jug Daggett, his son, his wife.
Why?
Because I've taken an interest in the boy. Because I'm convinced the boy should be given a new home.
You're lying.
Careful.
No crook would want information for a reason like that. What's behind this?
I've told you the truth.
You a friend of Jug's?
No.
An enemy?
I never saw him before this afternoon.
Well, gun or no gun, you get no information from me until I hear straight talk. Now, let's have it. What's your game? What the?
Steady, Silver, steady. There, old fellow. We got him.
What was it?
A snake. Your horse disturbed him.
You got him at the very first shot, and with only moonlight to shoot by.
A lucky shot.
And you called your horse Silver.
Right.
Do you travel with an Indian named Natchez?
I have an Indian friend, but his name is Tonto.
You gave the right answer. Let me look at the cartridges in that gun.
Take it.
Silver.
I said I thought you'd heard of me.
The Lone Ranger.
Yes.
Lone Ranger, for 10 years I've hoped to meet you. And when I do, I must take you for an outlaw.
I've heard of you, too, many times.
You have?
You brought the law to Concho City. You couldn't do that without getting a reputation.
I'll be a lawman as long as there's an outlaw alive that needs jailing.
I wondered about that.
Wondered?
When your father died, he left you the largest ranch in the region. You could have managed the ranch, or sold it, and taken life easy. You didn't either. You ran for sheriff, put a foreman in charge of your property.
That's right.
Why? Your pay is poor. The work is dangerous. Why should you choose this sort of a life?
Because it was time we had a sheriff around here that could enforce law and order.
I see.
Oh, I'm not bragging. There's plenty other good men in the county, but none of them would take the job. They had their ranches, and they figured they could protect them. They figured they didn't need any help from a sheriff.
It was you who put an end to rustling.
My first job was to get everybody working together. When all the honest men in the district are united, then a crook doesn't stand a chance. Paul told me that. Those were almost his last words.
Did you promise your father to run for sheriff?
No, not exactly. But I thought about it a lot. And that's the only way I figured I could get the job done. Satisfied?
You've answered my question, but I'm still wondering.
What about?
From the way you talk, you sound as if you're fighting for more than law and order.
I am. I'm getting even.
For what?
For what the outlaws around here did to my family.
Your mother and father?
Once there was 4 of us.
You mean that you had a sister or a brother that was killed by...
Not killed. Or maybe he was. We never found him anyway.
A brother?
Yeah. I had a brother kidnapped before he was a year old. I know it killed my mother. My father searched for the boy right up to the day he died.
And found no clue to his disappearance?
Nothing. But one thing is sure, Lone Ranger.
Yes?
If I ever meet the man or men responsible, Lord help them.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. That same evening, Hetty Daggett lay sleepless on her bed. Judge Daggett had failed to appear since his encounter with the Lone Ranger. Billy had retired to his own small room, divided from hers by a flimsy partition. It seemed to Hetty as she lay there, her eyes wide open and fixed blankly upon the ceiling, that it must be almost morning. In reality, however, when finally she arose and slipped a wrapper around her thin shoulders, it was scarcely midnight. She moved quietly toward the door of Billy's room.
Billy? Billy?
That you, Ma?
Were you sleeping?
Some, Ma. What's the matter?
I've got to talk to you, Billy.
Gee, Ma, you sound funny.
That masked man.
Huh?
That masked man was here this afternoon. One made Jug leave you be. You don't know who he is, do you?
Gosh, no.
Did you like him?
Oh, golly. When I'm full growed, I want to be just like him. Was you watching, Ma? Did you see how slick he grabbed his shooting iron? Willikers. Faster than you could wink almost.
Listen, Billy.
Huh?
Just move over a bit so as I can sit down. I've got to talk to you.
Sure.
You won't tell Jug about this, will you, Billy?
Well, of course not, Ma. What is it?
It's something I've been thinking about for a long, long time. It's something terrible that happened once that I've thought and thought about till sometimes I was afraid I'd go clean out of my head.
Well, was it something you done, Ma?
No, Billy. Something done by somebody else. Something I didn't know about at the time, but I found out after. A long time after. And ever since, it's been on my mind something awful.
Gee.
And now I just can't stand it no longer. But I don't know who to tell.
Well, can't you tell me, Ma?
Not just yet. It'd have to be somebody else.
Sheriff Roper. Why don't you tell him?
Oh, I couldn't, Billy. You wouldn't understand.
Huh?
Sometimes, son, when you've loved somebody a terrible lot, even when you find out he's bad and mean and he's done things he should be made to pay for, why, you just don't have the heart to make him do it.
You're talking so funny, Ma.
I thought maybe I could tell that masked man about it and the law wouldn't have to know.
Why, sure you can.
Could you find him?
No, but I know how to make him come here.
You do, Billy?
Shucks. We got signals fixed up between us and everything. You just sit right there, and I'll go sit...
Hey, you scheming brat.
Pa!
Oh. Double-crossing little sneak.
You won't get me.
Hey, what the...
Your masked man will fix you.
Why, you blasted whelp. You're harder to lay hands on than a yellow-livered coyote.
I'll show you.
What are you doing?
You'll see.
What?
It ain't here.
Yeah, you bet it ain't there.
You took it away.
Thought you'd signal the masked man, huh? Thought I didn't hear the scheme you fixed up, you blabbing sneak. That gun's right here in my belt.
Stay away from me.
Come here.
Let go. No. Oh, you're twisting my arm. Oh,
Pick
please,
up
let
that
go.
can at your feet there.
I can't.
Pick it up.
I got it. Don't twist my arm. Please let
Get
go
back
of me.
in your room.
Jug, you're going clean. Look.
You stay in there,
Just
too.
let the boy go. He ain't harmed you. Do anything you want of me, but let him go.
I'll fix both of you for good and all.
Blast you. Leave go. Leave go.
Oh! Kick me, will you?
Oh, my head. Oh, what you doing?
Look what you done. You spilled that kerosene all over the floor.
Which is just what I aim to do.
What do you mean?
It means I've stood for all the double-crossing blabbing I'm gonna close your mouths. Neither one of you's gonna squeal on me.
You just wait till the masked man hears about this.
Shut up! I'll get that hombre, too.
What do you want at that window?
I'm just seeing if these shutters will still nail tight.
But why?
I'm sick and tired of you whining. Fed up on you and this whelp always siding against me.
Jug, you've been drinking.
What if I have?
You're out of your head. You ain't yourself.
What I am is none of your business.
Where are you going, Jug?
Hey, the kerosene. Don't drop that match or the kerosene will catch a fire.
And ain't that just too bad?
Oh, wait. Watch out.
Get back.
Jug, let us out. I don't know what to
The Lone Ranger had returned to camp and told Tonto of his conversation with Bob Roper, Concho City's young sheriff.
So, Tonto, that explains why Bob Roper would rather hunt down criminals than manage his property. And to learn more about Jug Daggett.
What's that?
Jug has always been a petty thief. He was born and raised in this section. He was no good from the start. A number of the ranchers in this section suspected him of butchering their cattle. And when he could, he sold the hides also.
Then catch him?
Bob's father did.
Oh.
But he punished Jug in his own way without turning him over to the law. Whatever it was, Bob never learned. However, it must have been very effective. Bob says Jug left the district at that time and didn't return for almost 5 years. When he came back, he brought a wife and child with him.
Then boy belonged to him.
I don't think so.
What you think?
I tried to question Bob without letting him suspect what I was getting at. I believe I succeeded. I learned that Jug disappeared at just about the same time the child was kidnapped.
You think Jug take him?
There's certainly reason to think so. The theft of the child was spite work, not for ransom. No money was ever demanded for the child's return.
Oh.
And Jug hated Bob's father. Jug could have taken the child, married that woman in another part of the country, and returned again without anyone suspecting the child hadn't been born while he was gone. In fact, I'm positive that's just what did happen. The woman would have feared Jug too much ever to talk, even if she knew the truth.
Not right.
That's just the kind of revenge a man of Jug's type would like. To return with the child to the man he felt had injured him and mistreat the child without fear of discovery.
Him heap bad fella.
There's one thing more that makes me think that's what happened.
What that?
Give Billy the right kind of care, let him fill out a bit, and he'd look enough like young Bob Roper to be his twin.
Why other people not see that?
I took both of them for granted. They never had reason to suspect Jug wasn't Billy's father, so they never questioned it.
What we do?
I'm going to find Jug's wife. I think she can be induced to talk. And if she can...
You look.
What? Fire.
See glow?
That fire's in the direction of Daggett's shack. Come on. Throw the saddles on and cinch up. We're riding.
An hour later, Jug Daggett reined in his lathered horse in front of the cottage where Bob Roper made his home in town.
Sheriff! Hi there, Roper. Open up. Hurry and open up, Sheriff.
That's you, Jug.
Sheriff, you gotta hurry. Climb in your clothes. Hurry
What's
up.
the matter with you? You drunk again?
No, I ain't drunk. My house is afire.
What's that?
My wife and boy are both trapped inside.
Man, you must be crazy.
I ain't crazy. I'm telling you the honest truth. I seen the fire. I heard him yell inside. I tried to get him out, but I couldn't. Sheriff, do something before I go clean crazy.
Your wife and Billy were inside that shack?
They were, I tell you.
And you didn't get them out?
I couldn't. I couldn't do a thing.
You ought to be strung up to the nearest tree. Come inside. I'll be with you in just 10 seconds.
Bob dressed as fast as he could, hurried outside, saddled his mount, and raced with Jug toward the shack. It was 3 hours before the two men returned to Concho City. They were tired and dirty, their clothes covered with ashes. But Jug, in spite of his weariness, was protesting loudly.
Why do I have to go to your office with you? Why can't I just find some place to go to sleep and get some rest?
Because I want a statement.
I'll give it to you tomorrow.
You'll give it to me tonight.
I've already told you everything I know.
You've still got some things to explain.
What things?
You swore you hid Billy and your wife inside the shack when it was burning.
I did?
There was no sign of them. You know that. We searched everywhere. The shack burned down, yes. But they weren't in it.
Well, I thought they was.
And if they weren't there, how did the fire start? You say you were returning from town when you first saw it.
I was?
Then you couldn't have started it. If they weren't there, they couldn't have.
How should I know how it started?
That isn't all. Where are they now?
Doggone it, ain't you, Sheriff? Ain't it up to you to figure them things out? If you can't handle your job, say so, and I'll go to somebody who can.
I figured to make out all right. Here we are. Whoa. Oh, boy. Whoa.
Oh, there. Oh.
You can tell me everything you know about this. I'll write it down, then you can sign it.
It seems like a lot of blame foolishness to me.
Your opinion wasn't asked.
Ain't a man got no rights?
You've got rights. You've also got obligations.
What are you doing with them keys?
I'm going to unlock the door, of course.
It's already unlocked. Door ain't even closed tight.
That's funny. I was sure I locked up. Wait till I light this lamp. There. Now we'll...
There.
Surprised to see us, Jug?
The Lone Ranger.
What'd he call you, mister?
Never mind that, Billy. Stand where you are.
Don't hit me.
Stand still, or the next shot will be dead center.
No, don't shoot.
Come here.
I wasn't running away. I was just
You was too running away. You locked me and Ma in the house and you set it afire so as we'd burn. And you was running because you knew I'd tell.
Why, you...
Is that the truth?
It is. Tonto and I saw the fire, rode to the shack and got the boy and the woman out just in time. The place had been saturated with kerosene.
It ain't neither. He's saying that just to get me in bed. He's making the whole thing up.
Jug, your word against the masked man's isn't worth a thing.
I never...
Keep an eye on the fellow, Bob. He's guilty of more than setting fire to that shack. And he knows the game's up.
What do you mean?
Your wife is in the next room resting, Jug. She has no reason to keep your secrets any longer. And I happen to know the whole truth about Billy and who he really is.
Wait, no.
What's that, stranger?
Jug kidnapped the child from your parents, Bob. Billy here is that child, and I can prove it.
She talked. She went to blabbing just like I knew she would. I wish she had been burned. I wish she'd burned the kid along with her, the dirty...
You rotten snake!
Oh!
Gee, Sheriff, you hit almost as hard as the masked man. He's out cold.
Lone Ranger, tell me the truth. Is this boy here my brother? Is he?
You heard Jug admit it.
Billy.
Golly, stranger, I never heard Ma say that.
She isn't your mother, son, and she didn't say it. She refused to tell me what I suspected to be the truth because I wouldn't promise not to turn Jug over to the law. Some women are like that, Billy. Loyal no matter what they suffer. I had to trick Jug into admitting the truth.
So Jug is the man I was after all the time. And I never knew it.
Right. Come, Tonto.
Wait.
Don't punish a woman, Bob. She had no part in the scheme.
I won't. Of course I won't, but I'd like...
If you want to know why Jug hated your father, Bob, take a look where Jug's shirt has been torn away.
Shirt? Good Lord. Branded. Branded front and back. And it's my father's old brand.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger, Incorporated.
Hunt the biggest of all game with the Green Hornet and Cato coming up next.
Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America. With his faithful valet Cato, Britt Reed, daring young publisher, matches wits with the underworld, risking his life that criminals and racketeers within the law may feel its weight by the sting of the Green Hornet. Ride with Britt Reed in the thrilling adventure, A Question of Time. The Green Hornet strikes again. The rain came down unceasingly, and to add to the eerie darkness of the night along the waterfront, a heavy mist had risen, and it swirled and eddied about the long black car which, moving like a sinister shadow, finally came to a stop alongside a deserted waterfront building. A tall, shadowy figure stepped from the car. It was the dreaded figure of the Green Hornet, who stood listening intently for a moment, then spoke.
Come on, Cato. We'll take a chance.
You think they set trap for Hornet, perhaps, Mr. Britt?
It could be. That's why we came here half hour ahead of time.
Will Black Beauty be safe here in a secluded place?
Yes. Leave the car door open for a quick getaway. Come on. We'll go to the end of the dock. It isn't very far.
What we find there?
We're supposed to find a motor launch there. The time was set at 9 o'clock. I'm hoping it'll be there ahead of time.
The police sure to come soon, Mr. Britt.
Yes. That's why we came early. It's hard to see anything. I think I see the outline of a small boat now.
Oh, I see something. It could be a boat we can...
Shot come from boat at end of dock, perhaps.
Yes. Come on.
Boat leaving.
Yes. We're a little too late.
No use for us to... Oh, look, Mr. Britt. Outline of launch still there.
Yes. That was another boat leaving. Come on. Here we are.
We go on board?
Yes, follow me. Use your flash, Cato.
Yes, sir.
We'll look in the cabin. Come on.
Be careful. It's dark down in there. Maybe someone waiting there.
I'll risk it. Flash your light around.
There not seem to be anyone... Man, lie on bunk.
Don't move, you. Bring that light here.
Man, look like he...
He's dead. Shot through the head. Let's see. Great Scott! This is Stuart Ludlow, the man who...
Boat coming, Mr. Britt.
I hear it. Maybe the killers are returning.
A police boat.
Let's get out of here fast. Uh-oh. The fog's lifted a bit.
Police cars come too.
Douse the light, quick.
We'll be trapped. What we do?
It's a short distance back along this dock. We've got to get back off it before they reach it. Come on. Now, run for it. We've got to make it.
They see us in a moment.
Head for the Black Beauty. Here's the Black Beauty. I'll drive.
Hurry. They're coming. We have very narrow escape, Mr. Britt.
You can say that again, Cato.
And now Green Hornet be blamed for murder of man on launch.
That's right, he will.
We leave in such hurry after you come from office tonight. You not tell me why we go to dock. Well, how you know launch be there?
Of course you read in the Sentinel about Stuart Ludlow, the man we found murdered on the launch.
Oh, yes, sir. It say he was assistant to Professor Santos, a scientist from South American country who come here during the war to do secret work for government. Ludlow reported missing since last night. Also, certain secret formula missing.
Right. Professor Santos gave out the report, and he suspected Ludlow of stealing the paper. Early this afternoon, I was in the city room at the Daily Sentinel, discussing the case with Gunnigan.
Well, I guess that guy Ludlow beat it off with those secret papers, all right, Chief. Goes to show you don't know who to trust.
Could be, Gunnigan. Yet it's hard to believe Stuart Ludlow would do a thing like that. He received a citation for his brilliant work in scientific research during the war.
Yeah, but according to Santos, they'd hit on something big. Ludlow probably thought he could sell it to spies or something.
Maybe, but I still...
Hi, Gunnigan. When did you hear the news I got this time? Did they find Ludlow? No, but I got... Maybe the secret formula thing turned up.
No,
huh?
it didn't, but I got...
well, then, man alive, Mike, don't stand there quibbling. If you really got some news, let's have it.
Besides, Gunnigan, will you give me a chance to stop popping off before I get 2 words out of me mouth?
Calm down, both of you. What have you found out, actually?
Wait till you hear, Reed. I was at cops' headquarters a while ago when they got a printed note having to do with the Ludlow case.
A printed note?
Yeah.
What did it say? Did you get a copy? Was it from the right...
Short on, Gunnigan, will you? Of course I got a copy. Took it down word for word. Listen to this.
Well, hurry up, read it.
It says... Ludlow stole the formula and is selling it for big money. You can catch him red-handed when he turns it over to the Green Hornet tonight in a motor launch at 3rd Street Dock at 9 tonight. Then he'll use the launch for his getaway. Signed, one who was double-crossed. What do you think of that now?
Jumping catfish. So the Hornet's mixed up in this.
At least that's what the note says. Are the police planning to close in on the Maxford?
Sure. And believe you me, I'm going to be right with him. So Sarge wants this kept off the record, Reed. So as not to tip off Ludlow and the Hornet.
What? You mean that we have to...
Sergeant Burke is right, Gunnigan. We can't print that news about the note until after they have a chance to act.
Oh, I suppose not. Have they notified the professor about it?
Nope. Nobody knows but the cops and us. So keep it under your hat.
We'll keep it quiet, Axford. After the police go to the dock tonight, phone me about what happened. I'll be anxious to know. That's the reason I came home and then went to the dock as the Green Hornet, Cato. You know the result.
It looked like someone definitely planned to kill Ludlow on launch, so police find body and blame Hornet.
Right. That someone very cleverly planned to make it look as though the Hornet murdered Ludlow and took the formula. And so far, he got away with it.
Well, it's not good.
That's true. But the Green Hornet won't take it sitting down, Cato. I won't rest until I've found that killer, no matter what it takes to do it.
Murdered by Green Hornet. Police find body. Here you are, lady. Hornet escaped with secret papers. Here you are, sir. Read all about it. Central Extra. Pepper.
It was almost noon of the following day when Mike Axford entered Britt Reed's outer office, where Lenore Case, secretary to the young publisher, was busy at her desk.
Hey, Casey. How are you doing?
Oh, good morning, Axford. Or should I say good afternoon, perhaps?
Oh, one or the other. It's all the same to me.
That's right. Evidently time means nothing to you, the way you come strolling in when you feel like it.
Huh. Is that so now? I'll have you know I've put in a full day's work this morning, that I have.
Doing what, for instance? Dunking donuts in your coffee?
Look, if I want a dunk, I'll dunk, and it'll still be none of your business, as I. But if you must know, I've been over to Professor Santos' place with Sarge and a couple of the boys.
Oh. Well, maybe I was hasty in what I said.
Axford, I've been waiting for you.
Oh, hello, Reed. I was just about to go into...
I know. You were just about to come into my office. Gunnigan said he went over to Professor Santos' place this morning.
That I did, Reed. You see, it is known that the professor owns a cabin cruiser. Sarge thought maybe Ludlow used it to meet the Hornets at the dock last night. But Santos' boat was still in the boathouse.
I see. Then they still don't know who owned the launch in which Ludlow was killed.
Nope, they're still checking. No doubt it was stolen from someone who reported missing before long.
Maybe. So Santos owns a cabin cruiser, eh?
That he does. But he hasn't had it out of the boathouse in over a month. And he's the only one who has a key to get into it. He says he hasn't even been inside the boathouse.
Did you see his cruiser, Axford?
Sure. We all went to the boathouse. Sarge wanted to check, you know. It is a fine cruiser Santos has there.
Did Sergeant Burke do any checking at all to make sure the cruiser hadn't been used last night?
Oh, sure. Of course, he wouldn't question Santos' word. But then he did find that the gas tank was empty, and the back deck was covered over with the canvas and things stored away, so it was easy to see it wasn't used.
I see.
Well, what's the cruiser like, Axford?
Oh, it has a sort of deck business behind, and then a glassed-in cabin in the middle. Then off that, at the front, through a little door, there's a couple of bunks for sleeping. All as cozy as can be.
Gunnigan told me you went over there at 9 o'clock this morning. Where were you all morning? It's noon now.
Well, yeah, see, Reed, it was like this. I got left behind on the cruiser, that is.
Left behind? Well, how did that happen?
Yes, what do you mean?
To tell the truth, Reed, I snooped into that little bedroom where them bunks were. Well, just to see how comfortable they were, mind you, I sort of laid down on one of them while Sarge and the others were talking outside.
Oh, Michael Axford, don't tell us you went to sleep.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
Oh, I might have known.
You mean the others went off and left you there asleep?
That they did, Reed. Sure, and I got the start of my life when I woke up and got a look at the little clock on the wall up over the bunk. It pointed to 11 o'clock.
Well, Axford, what did you do?
And I got off the boat and pounded on the door of the boathouse till the professor heard me and came down and let me out. Guess he thought I was a dope. He didn't seem to like it a bit. And I got me jalopy and highballed it over here.
Funny Sergeant Burke didn't miss you.
Oh, he knew I had my own car there, so he probably didn't give it a thought. Anyway, we didn't find out anything.
I suppose for a moment you thought that clock on the cruiser was wrong when you looked at it, eh, Axford?
You said it, Reed. But I checked with my own watch and found it was right after all. So I sure lost no time getting out of there.
Oh, Axford. You know, that's about the dumbest thing you've ever done. Lying down and going to sleep while you're out investigating.
Okay. Go ahead and laugh, because I got it coming. You know, Reed, it's an open and shut case against the Green Hornet. We know he double-crossed Ludlow by murdering him and making off with the secret paper. Sure, and this is one time the cops are up against the killer who's too smart to be caught.
Well, you never can tell, Axford. Sometimes the smartest of killers can overlook some little detail that will open the way to his capture. Something tells me Ludlow's murderer will be caught sooner than he or anyone else expects.
We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. After hearing Axford's story of his visit to Professor Santos' cruiser, Britt Reed did some serious thinking. At dusk, he left the Sentinel building and went to his apartment, where Cato, his Filipino valet, was preparing dinner. Britt immediately put through a phone call to Professor Santos.
Is this Professor Santos speaking? I'm Britt Reed, publisher of the Daily Sentinel.
Yes, Mr. Reed. What can I do for you?
Well, I called to ask if you've heard anything about part of a message scratched on the wall panel of the launch by your assistant Ludlow just before he died. It might have been done by a pen or something like that, in an effort to tell just who it was that killed him.
Moment, Mr. Reed. You say poor Ludlow lived long enough to scratch some sort of marking inside the launch?
Well, now, perhaps I shouldn't have brought it up. Naturally, I thought if he had done something like that, the police would have told you. But then I guess they would keep it quiet about any clues they might have found.
Yes, of course. Have you any idea just what might have been scratched on that wall panel by Ludlow?
No. As I said before, if they found any such markings, the police have kept it more or less a secret. Of course, being in the newspaper business, we hear a lot of things that aren't actually...
But after all, the police don't need clues. The Hornet killed Ludlow.
Well, that seems to be the consensus of opinion, Professor Santos. I thought I'd check with you anyway on the rumor I've heard.
I'm sorry, Mr. Reed, but I've heard nothing about it.
I see. Well, thank you. If I get any definite information about it, I'll call you again.
I wish you would, Mr. Reed. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Professor. Cato.
Yes, sir?
Come here, will you?
Right away, Mr. Britt.
Hurry. Forget about dinner. We have a job to do.
What are we going to do?
The launch on which Ludlow was murdered is still moored at the 3rd Street dock. But since the police are convinced the Hornet killed him, they've left it unguarded.
Well, what about launch? You hope to find a clue, perhaps?
No, Cato, not exactly. But I do hope to leave something which someone else might mistake for a clue. We'll go down there right now.
You go out as Green Hornet?
Yes. Let's go. The place seems to be deserted, Cato.
You certain police not leave guard?
Well, that's what Axford said. There's really no reason why they should. Wait here. I won't be long.
Moving quickly through the darkness, the Green Hornet made his way along the dock, and after pausing to make certain he wasn't observed, he leaped lightly to the afterdeck of the murder launch.
So far, so good.
Quickly, the shadowy figure went into the boat's cabin. A short time later, he emerged, and in a few minutes reached the side of the Black Beauty.
Now, Cato, we'll do a bit of watchful waiting.
Well, what do we wait for, Mr. Britt?
I'm not positive, Cato, but I think that launch will have another visitor tonight.
We wait more than half hour now, Mr. Britt, but no one come.
I know I'm on the right track, Cato. Now, we'll just have to be patient and wait a little longer.
You expect a certain man to come to lunch?
No, but I do think someone will show up sooner or later.
I hear a car coming.
Yes, I see it. It's going right to the edge of the dock. That's the one we're waiting for, Cato.
Oh, big man get out of car. He go toward launch.
Yes. The moonlight shows him up pretty well. It isn't a figure of anyone I've seen before.
What do we do now?
Wait right here until he starts away in the car. Then we'll follow.
Where do you think he'll lead us?
To the man responsible for Ludlow's murder.
Look, the man stay on launch only for a minute. He coming back to car now.
Yes. But he was there long enough with a purpose. He's getting into the car. This is it, Cato. All right. Get started, Cato. Follow that car.
Well, Carl, come in. Go into the study.
Professor, the game is up. You'll have to clear out with me.
What? Then there was something on the cabin panel, eh?
Yes, he must have scratched it with a pin. Letters spelling your name, Professor. S-A-N-T-O-S.
But that is your fault. I told you to be sure he was dead.
But I could have sworn he was dead, Professor. I told you so when I got back into your cruiser to get away.
Carl, it's strange that if the authorities saw that marking on the panel last night,
They haven't come here to question me. That's the way the American authorities work. They let you think you're not suspected till they put all the facts together. Then, they walk in, take you away. Where did you hide the paper containing a formula?
In a slit in the mattress on one of the bunks in my cruiser. Carl, we have to make plans for leaving here. What's the matter?
Quiet. Thought I saw someone outside that window. It's open a little. They heard anything?
See anyone, Carl?
No. Guess I'm a little jumpy. There's only one thing to do, Professor.
What is that?
You take your cruiser and go down the bay. The ship I'm to sail on tomorrow night is anchored down there. Can be arranged for both of us to go to board tonight.
Yes, we'll do that. If we wait longer, they may put someone out here to watch.
We must not be caught, Professor. We'll both hang for murder if we are.
You were the one who killed Ludlow.
But you planned the whole thing. And you piloted the boat that took me there.
All right. I'll pack a few things, and then we'll leave in my cruiser. Once we're on that ship, we'll be safe.
Meantime, Cato joined Britt Reed, who stood waiting near the door to the boathouse.
Did you phone the police as I told you to, Cato?
Yes, sir. I tell the murderer of Ludlow go out in Professor's cruiser tonight. Well, they think I'm in Green Hornet, perhaps.
Yes. Well, I'll use a skeleton key on this door, and we'll board the cruiser. I overheard enough to know the missing formula's there. I'm certain they'll try to use the cruiser for a getaway.
You keep them from taking boat out?
No. I want them to get out on the water. There'll be less chance of one of them escaping. Come on.
A short time later, Professor Santos and Carl entered the boathouse and boarded the cabin cruiser. And within a few minutes, the boat was backed out into clear water.
That's far enough, Professor. Now swing it around and head down the river towards the bay. Stay close to the shoreline.
All right, Carl. This whole job has been botched, Carl. I hope to continue on here in this country with further scientific research.
Just to get out while you can, Professor. They would have caught up with you sooner or later. And think of all the money you get for turning that formula over to us.
Listen, Professor, I hear it. Must be police boats.
See, they did suspect you.
Don't worry, Carl. I have special auxiliary motor on this cruiser. We can use them readily.
Switch over to it then. I'll get the machine gun from the toolbox there. Ha, the fools. I'll get the machine gun.
Get away from that toolbox.
Hey, but
look, Carl, in the cabin doorway.
Green Hornet.
Right, killer.
Why, I'll show you something.
This is for a good shot, Joe. I'll settle you. I don't dare leave the wheel, Carl. Don't let me what? Do this? No. Stay away from me. We'll all get caught. Come here, you. I take wheel. You, Professor, can take this. No, I can't breathe.
Shut off the motor, Cato. See this paper, the formula pinned to the professor with a notepad.
Police boat coming fast.
Yes, the shore's close by. We'll have to swim for it, Cato. When they board the cruiser and fly these two, a little grilling will make them squeal. Let's go.
Later, in Britt Reed's apartment, he and Cato, in dry clothes, were discussing the events of the evening.
What you do at dock tonight, Mr. Britt?
I scratched Santos' name on the wall of the cabin on the launch. I told you about my phone call to the professor just before we went to the dock.
Oh, yes. Then what you tell him over phone, make him send to see if Ludlow really leave clue.
That's it, Cato. And then we...
Please, have we got news this night?
Axford and Sergeant Burke.
Axford asked me to run him home in a squad car. His jalopy busted down.
So glad you came in. Now, what's the big news?
Reed, what do you think? The cops got a tip-off that the murder of Ludlow was going to go out in Sando's cabin cruiser.
Really? The Green Hornet, you mean?
No, it wasn't the Hornet, Mr. Reed, though we thought that's who we'd find. It was Professor Santos himself with a Nazi underground spy.
What?
That's right. Santos came too. He'd been gassed by the Hornet, you see, and before the other guy could talk, Santos had spilled the whole works. And we found the secret papers, too.
But why he tried to steal his own formula?
Cato, he was going to get a big dough from some Nazis in South America for that formula. He couldn't sell it openly, so he had Ludlow murdered, then accused him of stealing the papers. We got the whole story.
But Oxford says something about the Green Hornet. Was he on the cruiser?
No, not when we got aboard. But stuck right on the clock in the bunk room was a Hornet seal. On the clock, mind you.
Yeah. Believe me, that professor was a smart one, sending that fake note to headquarters saying the Hornet was going to meet Ludlow at the 3rd Street dock. In that way, he had us thinking the Hornet killed Ludlow.
Oh, well, the Hornet was mixed up with him. Well, just a question of time as to when he'd pull a double cross.
Sure. And it's only a question of time before that spalpeen makes a slip and gets himself caught. To my way of thinking, he's too smart for his own good.
You can say that again, Sarge. But stop at the words too smart. That's what I think of the Hornet.
Well, have it your way. I got to get back to headquarters. See you again, Mr. Reed.
Wait, I'm coming with you. So long, Reed.
Goodbye.
Mr. Britt, I not understand how you so positive Professor Santos involved in case.
When Axford told me about going to Santos, he gave me a clue, Cato.
What did he tell you?
Axford fell asleep on the cabin cruiser in Santos' boathouse. He said when he awoke, he noticed the time on a clock near the bunk. The time indicated by his own watch was just about the same.
But how does that tell you anything?
Cato, they don't have electric clocks on motorboats. Santos swore to the police that he hadn't been near his boathouse in a month, and therefore hadn't used his cabin cruiser. Yet that clock was running and keeping time.
Oh, so that is...
Right. Somebody had wound that clock. So I knew Santos had been lying since he had the only key to the boathouse. He had used his cabin cruiser only the night before. And as Axford so aptly put it, the solution of the case really was just a question of time.
Green Hornet implicated. Read all about it. Green Hornet still inside. Let's select the principal.
These popular radio dramas, created by George W. Trendle, are a copyrighted feature of the Green Hornet, Incorporated. All characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious.
Crime doesn't stand a chance against Dick Tracy. Up next.
And now, Dick Tracy. This is Dick Tracy on the case of the Book of Four Kings. Stand by for action. Let's go, men. Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order. In just a moment, we'll hear today's Dick Tracy adventure. But first, here's a thought for today. You know, it doesn't take money to bring happiness to yourself, and you can have a fine, adventuresome life without it. Take Dr. Wilfred Grenfell, for instance. Now, there was a man who started many years ago to build a rich medical practice in the wealthiest section of London. And he did, too. But one year he needed a rest, and so he decided on a great adventure to spend a vacation on the coast of Labrador, that barren strip of land on the east coast of Canada. He found 30,000 fishermen living there, all of them poor, hard-working, without a single doctor to take care of them. Back in London, after his vacation, he made a decision. He would close out his well-paying practice and open a doctor's office in Labrador. The next year found him in Labrador again, traveling up and down the 15 miles of frozen wasteland to give medical care to the fishermen who had never had it before. He spent the rest of his life there working tremendously hard, but never making a single cent. Dr. Grenfell was completely happy. because he was doing work he loved, and he knew he was being useful. Makes you think, doesn't it? And now, Dick Tracy. Yesterday, the doorman at Big Digger's apartment house made the singular mistake of attempting to blackmail him. And so Big Digger tricked him into a meeting on the retaining wall overlooking the underpass through the park. Once there, Big Digger beat the doorman groggy with the barrel of his gun and then hurled him into the underpass in front of a racing car. But before the doorman died, he tried to leave Tracy a message. And when Tracy and Patton reached the scene of the tragedy, they saw that the dead man was holding 3 playing cards in his hand, an ace of spades, a queen of diamonds, and a 10 of clubs. Right now, Dick and Pat are finishing their investigation in the underpass.
All right, get your hand over here. Over this way.
Hi, Pat.
Oh, Dick, we're all done now. Pictures have been taken from every possible angle. I checked with the medical examiner, and he's going to do an autopsy right away.
Good work, Pat.
What do you say we hit the sack? That wind is getting chilly, and we're going to have a busy day tomorrow.
In a little while, Pat. Tell me, how about the driver that killed this man? Anyone picked up yet?
Not so far, Inspector Tracy, but I put it on the teletype, and I'm also having all repair garages within a 100-mile radius on the lookout for a car with a smashed right fender.
I'm awfully anxious to talk to whoever was driving that car.
Yeah, I could spare a word or two for him myself.
Let's hope you get the chance.
Say, have you got those playing cards that the fellow was holding?
Yes, I have them here in this envelope. I took them as soon as the boys had made pictures of them. I'm going to have them checked at headquarters for fingerprints.
Yeah, I wish I could figure out what they meant.
We will. Come on up here with me, Pat.
What gives, little mountain climbing?
I'd like to take a look at the park area up here.
Yeah. You know, this retaining wall is well tiered.
I'll tell the building commissioner you said so.
Thank you. Well, what are you going to look for up here?
I'm not sure yet. Come on over here. Now, there's the body right down there.
You didn't get me up here to tell me that, did you?
The car must have been traveling fast, judging from those skid marks. So it's safe to assume that the body was tossed about 10 or 15 feet at least. Let's walk down here. Shine your light around here on the cement walk, Pat.
How's that?
Fine.
Hey, Dick. What's that?
It looks to me like drops of blood.
What does it mean?
It could mean, Pat, that our doorman wasn't struck while walking along through the underpass.
No?
No. It could mean that he was up here.
And that he fell or jumped to the underpass below.
Fell or jumped or was pushed.
You smell a murder?
The odor isn't overpowering, but it's strong, Pat. And I think this is all I want to see around here, Pat. I'll drop you off at your apartment. We'll meet at headquarters first thing in the morning.
I'm for that. I don't want you to think that I'm mad for sleep, but every once in a while it comes in handy. Good morning, Richard.
Hello, Pat. Sit down.
Oh, you're so kind. Any reports in yet?
Some. I've just been going over the post-mortem. Boys did a quick job.
What's the verdict?
Well, there's no doubt but that the man died from injuries he received when the car struck him.
There goes your murder theory.
Not quite.
Well, what else did you find?
Some unexplained head injuries.
You mean something that wasn't the result of the collision with the car?
Exactly. I don't think we could ever prove anything because they could be a freak result of the collision. But I think, and Dr. Carey agrees with me, that the bruises on the face and nose were caused by a pipe or a loaded cane.
In other words, somebody belted the guy before he tangled with the auto?
Yes.
Oh, you've been reading too many books. Why try to complicate a simple hit-and-run death?
No, I'm not trying to look for things that weren't there. But supposing that someone did slug him, wouldn't that account for the bloodstains that we found on the top of the retaining wall?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
The man could have been struck up there and then, while he was still dazed, pushed off in front of the first car to come along.
You may have something there, my lad.
Well, I'm not giving it up for a while.
How about this doorman? Did you find out anything about him?
Well, he had several run-ins with the juvenile authorities. A couple of years ago, he served 6 months in the pen.
Just a clean, healthy American boy.
Yeah, I think he was hanging around on the fringe of the rackets, trying to get in somehow.
And look what happened to him. You'd think these jerks would get wise to themselves. They lead a life that no self-respecting pig would tolerate for a moment, with nothing but prison or the chair ahead of them. What was he doing as a doorman?
Maybe he was getting set to case the joint. Duck Boy, the owner-manager of the apartment, told me that he was just keeping them there on trial.
Do you think his murder had anything to do with your showing him the picture of Marchese?
That's the big question, Pat. If this man's death is tied in with Marchese's murder, it means that someone around here is getting close to home.
And all I want to know is who done it.
You know, I think the doorman was trying to tell us when he died.
Are you crazy?
Let's stick to one subject at a time.
Well, how was he trying to tell us?
This fellow always carried a pack of cards around with him.
Yeah, I know. He had 3 cards in his hand when we saw him last night.
Yes. There they are, Pat. Right on the desk.
The ace of spades, the queen of diamonds, and the 10 of clubs. Well, what was he going to do, play 3-card Monte?
He'd been playing for his life. And when he got those cards out, he knew he'd lost.
And you think he was trying to tell us something. Well, what?
We're going to sit right here in this office until we've found out.
The ace of spades, the queen of diamonds, and the 10 of clubs. Frankly, they don't mean anything to me.
Don't give up too easily, Pat.
I didn't. It was a terrible struggle.
10 of clubs, queen of diamonds, ace of spades.
Oh, Tracy, you're starting to snow. I'm getting out my shovel.
Go right ahead, Pat. What did you say?
I said I'm getting out my shovel. I know it wasn't very funny, but it was the best I could.
Shovel. Maybe that's it.
Maybe what you need is a good psychiatrist.
Pat, what's something else like a shovel?
A hoe?
No, you idiot. A spade.
Tracy, I'm trying to humor you. All right, a spade is like a shovel.
Don't you see, Pat? One of the cards the doorman was holding in his dead fingers was the ace of spades.
Yes, I know.
Oh, you're singularly dense today, Pat. What is a spade?
We just did that one. It's like a shovel.
A spade is a digger. A digger, get it? Mm-hmm. And the ace of spades is
a big digger. Say.
Had enough?
Tracy, you're a great man.
Oh, well.
We think that Big Digger murdered Marchese, and now this doorman dies under peculiar circumstances after having been shown a picture of Marchese.
It's more than the long arm of coincidence, Pat. Big Digger is our murderer.
Yes, but we still don't know where he is or what he looks like.
I think I know where he is, or at least where he operates.
Where?
Almost surely in that apartment house where the doorman worked. And I think I know what apartment.
What are you, clairvoyant?
No. It's the cards again. The 10 of clubs. Apartment 10C.
Say, I bet you're right. Should we pick him up?
I regret to say no. No, there's not a jury in the world would convict a man of murder because a dead man was holding 3 cards in his hands. And that's the sum total of our proof.
What about Marchese's killing?
There again, we're stuck. All we have to go on is conjecture. We haven't one shred of evidence.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to put a detective on as night doorman at that apartment. And we'll see if we can find out who this Big Digger is.
How about me, Dick?
No, you might be recognized, Pat. I'm going to use Danny Hochter. You know, he's an up-and-coming cop. I think he's going far in the department.
Isn't he on leave of absence?
No, he got back yesterday. He was just out a couple of days while his wife had a baby. Get him for me, will you, Pat? I'm going to call Duck Boy, the owner of the apartment house. Tell him he's got a new doorman. And at the apartment house late that very afternoon, Big Digger and Baguette meet in apartment 10C.
I see by the papers that your doorman was the victim of a hit-and-run driver in the park underpass last night.
Yes, wasn't it a pity?
How did you manage it?
I was very subtle. I slugged him and dropped him down the embankment in front of a car, neat and simple.
And safe.
A decided virtue.
There's been considerable loss of life since you came to town.
Only 2 casualties, and both completely justified.
Oh, I wasn't criticizing.
Did you see Van Rumpel?
Mm-hmm. I had lunch with him today. He's very anxious to play some poker tonight. He was so pleased when he won yesterday.
They all are. When I retire, I'm going to write a book on Dopus americanus, the common or ground variety of American sucker.
It should have an extensive sale. Have you seen your new doorman?
Have we got another already?
Why, yes, and he's beautiful. And so polite.
Does he seem accustomed to the work?
Well, just how much training does it take to open a door?
Stop being funny. I'm wondering about something.
What?
If that guy who was trying to blackmail me told the cops more than he let on, I'm going to call Duck Boy.
Who's he?
He's the owner-manager of this apartment house. He knows me as Roberts and thinks I'm a great guy. He ought to after the bribe I gave him to get this apartment.
Hello?
Hello, Duck Boy. This is Roberts.
Oh, hello.
I'm calling to complain about your new doorman. I want him fired.
Isn't he any good?
He's terrible.
Well, I'm afraid I can't fire him.
I'm not in the habit of playing games. Either fire that new doorman or I go to the state rent control board and tell them you took $5,000 under the table as a bribe for this apartment.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Roberts. I'd like to do what you ask, but I can't. Please don't do anything. Just be patient. You see, I was forced to take this man by the police.
In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. But first, you've probably all heard the expression, life in the raw. Well, nowhere was life in the raw better exemplified than in the great Northwest during the days of the Klondike Gold Rush. That was country that, as the saying goes, separated the men from the boys. Each Thursday night on Challenge of the Yukon, you can enjoy exciting tales of adventure set in this rough wilderness, untouched by refinements of civilization. Challenge of the Yukon is a colorful program which is broadcast over most of these same ABC stations. The stories are concerned with Sergeant Preston's fight to maintain law and order at a time when authority seemed to rest in each man's pistol holster. Representative of the small group of Northwest Mounted Police who braved the elements to track down ruthless criminals, Sergeant Preston is aided by his highly trained Eskimo lead dog, King. Although many of the action-packed dramatizations on Challenge of the Yukon deal with conflicts between men, there is also variation in the plot, stories that revolve around a wolf, a bear, and other animals of the Yukon, wildlife adventures that are entirely different from anything produced on the air before this. Tune in Challenge of the Yukon tonight. And now, back to Dick Tracy.
What is it, Big Digger?
Not very good. A new doorman was put there by the police department. Call off the game tonight. I've got to do some thinking. It looks like another casualty may be justified.
It's bad luck for Dick Tracy that his scheme has been found out by Big Digger. Better tune in tomorrow for the adventures of Dick Tracy, heard overseas through the Armed Forces Radio Service. And this is George Gunn speaking. An average Mr. Radio listener recently said, "Your Thursday night Willie Piper show is certainly pleasant." Yes, it moves along so smoothly and delightfully that you'll be surprised to find yourself completely absorbed in the story, unaware that your face is covered with a broad smile. 30 minutes pass just like that, and you're left with a mellow, contented feeling. The hero of the show is Willie Piper, a well-intentioned youth who blunders his way through the darndest predicaments. He's married to a wonderful girl. They live with Willie's father-in-law. These are the chief members of the cast, and so for the story and for wholesome chuckles, hear the Willie Piper Show broadcast tonight over most of these same ABC stations. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. Broadcasting Company.
One of old-time radio's longest-running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to another world. A world of suspense. A world of the unexpected. And a world where fantasy and reality may often wear the same face. We are told, the truth shall make you free. However, in certain situations, the truth can send you to jail. And so it's all a matter of what freedom really means, not to mention what truth really means. For Eleanor Hartley, this is no philosophical, theological, or intellectual exercise. It has become suddenly a tangible and terrible fact of life. Our mystery drama, A Tiny Drop of Poison, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Tammy Grimes. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
You don't see many people putting salt in their beer nowadays. Not that there's anything wrong with salt on radishes or French fries, but man, not in the king of beers. Truth is, the only thing salt can do for Budweiser is make it salty. An unwise thing to do to the only beer in America that's Beechwood aged. Unsalted Budweiser has become the most popular beer in the world. And that's because in brewing Bud, the Budweiser brewmaster goes all the way for a taste, a smoothness, a drinkability you'll find in no other beer at any price. And something else you can take without a grain of salt. The fact that when you say Budweiser, you've said it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Dreaming about becoming richer? Why not wake up richer every day? At Suburban Savings in North Jersey, getting richer is an everyday reality because Suburban has put into effect higher effective returns. Suburban's limited issue 7.50% savings certificate has an annual effective yield of 7.90%, and Suburban guarantees it from 4 to 10 years with a minimum investment of $2,500. You'll sleep a lot more soundly knowing your savings are earning more money at Suburban Savings. So sleep on Suburban's high effective return tonight and come into any of Suburban's convenient offices tomorrow in Bayonne, Edgewater, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Hackettstown, Morris Plains, Nutley, Paramus, and Sparta. Early withdrawal prior to maturity is, according to regulations, subject to a substantial penalty.
There's simply no way of knowing. So often, a fateful day will begin quietly, prosaically, with absolutely no hint that the steady pace of the commonplace is destined to quicken or falter. With no intimation that today a die will irrevocably be cast, and henceforward our lives will change forever. Or even cease to exist. A day like this has dawned for Eleanor Hartley, but she doesn't know it yet. Eleanor Hartley, at 32, she has it all. Looks, brains, personality, and a mission in life that seems certain of fulfillment. And on this day, this particular day, Eleanor Hartley is in a recording studio making a very important statement.
The principal issue, the primary issue, the overriding, indeed the only issue, is morality. Do you or do you not? Can you or can you not trust your elected representatives?
Okay, Eleanor, thanks. We got it.
But I haven't finished.
That's all we need.
Tom, I intend to run my own campaign.
Absolutely. Maury, don't edit any of this stuff now. Grab a portable rig and come on with us. We're going to the Madison Beach Club.
Just a minute. I have no intention of going to the...
You know, we didn't even drink our coffee. Why don't we just relax for a couple of minutes?
Mr. Caldwell, I think it's time we reached an understanding.
I thought we understood each other all along. You want some sugar?
I agreed to run for Congress because a group of concerned citizens asked me.
Well, they did.
And I thought it would be that simple. Why do I have to go to the Madison Beach Club?
You want to talk to people? That's where thousands of them are. Also, you look great in a bikini.
I think that's dishonest.
Why? It's your very own body. Is it your fault that it's more attractive than your opponent's, who happens to be a bald, paunchy old party hack?
Oh, why can't politics be simple?
You know, it's been such a morning. Didn't even get a chance to see the papers. Oh, look, right here. Right here on page 1. This is what the game is all about.
What?
Look, we got some more results from the surveys. You have gone up 7 points in the last week.
That's not very much.
Are you kidding? An unknown running against Big Jim Parkhurst, an entrenched incumbent? The way you're gathering momentum, we are in. Look, Eleanor, I have to know something.
What?
Big Jim is going to take you seriously from now on.
I should hope so.
Things may get rough.
I'm not afraid.
You don't know what rough is. You don't know how Parkhurst's people will probe and pry and dig. So, if there's anything in your past, anything at all...
What are you trying to say?
By now, Parkhurst has unleashed the hounds. They'll examine your life from the day you were born.
I have nothing to hide.
Good.
That is...
Yeah?
No. No one would ever come up with anything to embarrass me.
The year you were 22?
What about that year?
Eleanor, we can't account for it.
What are you talking about?
Well, we've checked you through school. We've checked you through college.
You mean you've actually investigated me?
Of course. When you were 23, you married Ted, and the past 5 years have been an open book. But that whole year, while you were 22...
Yes. Well, like so many kids who get out of college, I was at loose ends. Didn't know what I wanted. So, I just took off. I traveled around the country. I was just trying to find myself. And I did. And that's all there was to it.
Okay. Come on, finish your coffee. We're off. Hey,
what?
Look at that. Oh, no, it's just nothing. It's just an article here.
Which article?
Oh, it's got nothing to do with politics. I just happen to know this guy.
Who?
Oh, some guy. He was killed about 5 years ago. Murdered one night. Nobody knew why or by whom. Well, this sure throws a new light on the case. Turns out he was a foreign agent. Who'd ever thought that Paul Grover could turn out to be a foreign
What did you say his name was?
Grover, Paul Grover. Why, did you know him?
Grover. No, I never knew anyone.
Go figure some people.
Tom?
Something the matter?
I didn't feel good. Got a headache. Maybe I better go home. I'll rest for a while.
Eleanor, what's the matter?
I told you I have a headache.
Okay. It's a woman's privilege.
Hi there, Congresswoman.
Hi there, Detective.
Get any votes today?
A few. You catch any crooks?
No. I'm on a whole new thing. Sherlock Ted Hartley, that's me. I draw all the weird ones. This was a guy named Paul Grover.
Grover?
How do you like this? He was murdered 5 years ago, buried and forgotten. Now it's suddenly wide open again. You know why?
Tom showed it to me in the morning paper.
He was a spy. Which means we have to find out who killed him.
Wasn't it always important to find out?
Well, now more than ever. The information we have now is that he was ready to come over to our side and spill what he knew.
But, isn't this out of your,
The Federals asked us to cooperate. So the old man called me in and said, Ted, go get him.
Oh.
I'm a victim of my own reputation. So now I have to lone wolf around and try to sniff out a case that's 5 years old. Let's eat in tonight.
Okay.
It's a rare night I have you all to myself.
Maybe I should never have gone into politics.
What are you talking about? Here you are, a cop's wife.
You're more than just a cop.
And you're more than just a wife. It's one of those crazy things. You're going to go to Congress.
I have to be elected first.
Oh, baby, you're home free. My career took off the day I married you.
Come on, Ted.
No, I was always a good detective, but in the last 5 years, you'd be surprised how many ideas I got from you. You really taught me how to think.
What do the police know about the murder?
Well, just about zero. They figured Grover stopped for a hitchhiker because when he left his office to drive home, he was alone. They found his car at the side of the road, and he was about 30 feet away, stabbed to death. Funny guy. Lived all alone, no friends, just people who knew him casually.
Well, after all this time, how can you expect to find the killer?
Oh, I'll find the killer, whoever he is. At least that's what I keep telling myself.
I looked at Ted. If he's determined to get the killer of Paul Grover, eventually he will. And I don't know what to do. Should I tell him now? Suppose I did. What would he do about it? But why? Why should I tell him? He can never find out. For all his skill, experience, instinct, he could never find out. No one could find out. It all happened 5 years ago. When I was someone else, drifting about in another world. How could anyone ever link me to Paul Grover? There were no clues. No one ever saw us together. No one saw it happen. No one. Thanks for picking me up, mister.
Grover. Paul Grover. What are you doing out all alone this time of night?
Oh, I just feel like walking, moving.
You, one of them hippies?
What's in a name?
Talking about names. What's yours?
Eleanor.
Eleanor what?
What does it matter?
Okay. How'd you like some supper?
That would be, welcome.
I know a nice little place just off the state highway here.
You're very kind, Mr. Grover. Very kind. Why are we stopping?
Oh, well, I figured before supper we...
We what?
Well, let me put it this way. You want your supper, you gotta sing for it.
Take your arm away.
Hey, now listen.
Don't you touch me.
Who are you kidding? I know your kind. Hey, you come back here.
Let go of me, let go.
What are you fighting me for? Girl like you don't care, and I'm even willing to pay.
Help!
Scream all you want. Who's going to hear you? Okay, you asked for this.
No, please, put that knife away.
You quit scratching and slapping, and you just behave yourself, and you just do as I tell you, and you won't get hurt.
I'll go to the police.
Yeah, who'd believe you? Who'd take your word against mine? I'll say you're trying to frame me. You'll go to jail. Now, come on, honey, be nice. I'll even give you money.
All right. I'll be nice.
Don't you try to run away now. I'm holding this knife.
Sure.
Well, now you're talking.
Drop it.
You break my arm.
That's right. That's the way I was taught. Drop the knife.
I'll kill you.
Drop it.
Oh, you...
I told you. I told you to drop the knife, but you wouldn't.
I don't want to die.
Mr. Grover, I'm sorry, Mr. Grover. But what was I supposed to do? You wanted to kill me. What was I supposed to do? He was dead. The knife somehow had been turned against his own body. I just stood there. I remember now. I wondered why I didn't panic. But I was cool. I made sure to leave nothing behind me. Not in the car. Not anywhere around. There was no blood on my clothes. And so, I just walked away. I walked away into the night. And no one saw me. No one had seen me get into his car. No one saw me kill him. No one saw me leave. Nowhere does any shred or scrap of evidence exist to link Eleanor Daly. Now, Eleanor Hartley, to Paul Grover.
Well, she certainly told it the way it was. But is it true that there are really no clues? Perhaps there are no fingerprints or bloodstains, but how about other clues? Stronger clues. The clues that exist in the mind, the heart, the conscience. We may find a few of those when I return shortly with Act Two.
Great taste in the morning. Kellogg's has that wholesome taste to get you up and grinning.
This is Jerry Coffer for Kellogg's Special K. We've been having some fun in our television and radio commercials by using a ball and chain to symbolize the slight overweight problem common to so many of us. We point out that being a few pounds overweight is just a little more difficult for you. Climbing stairs, just walking around, even sitting down can feel, well, like you're wearing a ball and chain. In case you missed the message, it's this. If you really want to get rid of that extra weight, you really have to work at it by exercising and with sensible meals like the Special K breakfast. A 1-ounce bowl of Special K, America's favorite high-protein cereal, 4 ounces of skim milk, tomato juice, and coffee. Less than 240 calories. Nutritious and, by the way, delicious. So why not begin each day with a Special K breakfast and then keep up the good work? Special K can't help you lose weight all by itself, but it really is a good start.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Hey, Mom, what you got?
What's for dinner? Your ShopRite is featuring ShopRite or Shenandoah brand Grade A Rock Cornish hens. A real family treat at just 47 cents a pound. What's for breakfast? Listen to these ShopRite values. ShopRite Grade A large eggs, 59 cents a dozen. ShopRite sliced bacon, 1 pound package, 79 cents. ShopRite Grade AA butter, 1 pound brick, 69 cents. Crown Top white bread, 22-ounce loaves, 3 for $1. Save on every meal at ShopRite.
She loves her family. She wants the best. She does all that she can do. She lets ShopRite do the rest. Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
The Talk of New York, WOR, your Mystery Theater station.
They are a most unusual and attractive young couple, Ted and Eleanor Hartley. Ted is a brilliant detective on the city police force. Eleanor is so bright and sincere and articulate that a citizens committee has asked her to run for Congress. Eleanor is busy with her campaign. Ted is busy trying to track down a murderer. This sounds like two different stories, but actually, it's really one story, because the killer Tom is looking for happens to be Eleanor.
No, don't. Let me go. I'll kill you, Mr. Grover. Kill you.
Eleanor, darling. Eleanor, darling, wake up.
What? Oh. I must have had a nightmare.
You were muttering and mumbling the craziest things.
I think it's just I've been working too hard.
Darling, you don't have to put so much into it. There are lots of people working for you.
I want to be elected, Ted. I feel I could do so much good.
Sure.
I feel I owe something.
You owe something? What?
I feel I have a debt. I have to make up for something.
What?
Oh, well, once I did someone an injury.
Who?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but if it bothers you...
This person had it coming.
Then forget it.
It's not that easy.
Want to talk about it?
No. Part of our bargain, remember? We'd never press each other for details about what happened before we met each other.
Well, I'd say overall it's a good bargain, but... Tell me, did I bother you with this Grover case?
Bother me?
Yeah, your nightmare. You were mumbling, but you don't want to talk about it.
No, I'll talk about it if you want. I remember reading... It was such a messy murder.
I have to find the killer, no matter how long it takes.
I'm scared, because I know Ted means it. He never quits. He'll stay with it forever. I don't know what to do, but how can I tell him? How can I confess? It was self-defense, but it'll be the end. Not just the end of my career, but the end between Ted and me. For my part, I offer you a dedication to the truth. I will follow the truth, wherever it may lead. I will seek the truth, whomever it may hurt. What we need in our lives today, at every level, is the truth. The truth. Unvarnished, stark, simple. Thank you.
Come on. We have to go. Come on.
How did it sound, Tom?
We'll sneak down the back stairs. You're due on the south side in 15 minutes. There's the car.
You didn't tell me how it sounded, Tom.
Yeah, I know I didn't. What's the matter, Eleanor?
The matter?
Yeah, with you. The speech. There's something missing.
Oh. What?
I don't know. Let's say some of the fire was out. Anything wrong?
Nothing, Tom.
Having a bit of a tiff with Ted?
Ted is absolutely in favor of my running.
So what's wrong?
Why do you insist something's wrong?
Your speech. I didn't believe a word of it.
Why?
Because it was obvious to me that you didn't mean a word of it either.
But
Eleanor, something is wrong. Something has been just a little off-key all week. Now, why didn't you tell me about it?
Tom, I wish you'd believe me. Everything's just fine.
Yeah?
I mean it.
Well, if everything's just fine, why are you so pale and why are you perspiring?
Tom.
Then there is something.
Tom, there's nothing we can talk about.
But it's serious.
Yes. Serious.
Eleanor, if it should ever come out.
It can never come out, Tom, believe me.
Eleanor.
Please, Tom, don't ask me any more questions. Please.
Sure. Okay. But whatever it is, I'm in your corner. I'll back you. I'll fight for you no matter what you did. Even if you committed murder.
I can't believe we have a free afternoon.
Not Ted. You've been busier than I have.
Well, that's true. I'm the one who's been doing the neglecting. Guilty. I even got you out here on false pretenses. I'm working.
Working?
Mm-hmm. And I said, let's park the car and go for a little walk in the country, but right here is the site.
What site?
The site of the murder. The Paul Grover murder. Right here, past this tree.
Ted,
Huh? What is it, darling?
something about this place.
What if you want to leave?
No, after all, if you want me to help you.
Right here, past this tree, is where he drove off the road.
To, pick up a hitchhiker.
No. I don't buy that story anymore.
Why not?
There was another car.
Oh?
There were tire marks about 50 feet south of here where another car pulled off the road.
But, didn't the police know this 5 years ago?
Oh, sure. It was in the report, but the police are like everyone else. We have a considerable body of knowledge, but we only use what seems relevant at the time.
You think there was another car involved?
That's right. Someone met him here and killed him. It has to be that way, because he was being set up. So you see, I've got some clues. I have those tire marks. They made a mold 5 years ago. And I've got this little button made of bone. It was clutched in Grover's hand. You take a look at it.
I looked. It was a little button. A sleeve button. From a corduroy jacket. One of a host of buttons that adorned that jacket. The jacket I had worn that night. There were so many buttons. I never even noticed the one that was missing. That jacket. I still have it. I don't wear it often. But I still have it. It's in one of my closets. What you're saying is that if you can find the jacket it came from, you've got your killer.
That's right. I've got him.
Him?
Well, it's from a man's type field jacket, very popular about 5 years ago, although lots of people wore them. I think you've got one like it back home. Anyhow, there was a fight. Grover was stabbed. The killer took the money.
But I didn't...
You didn't what?
I didn't know that robbery was the motive. Wasn't it supposed to have been a secret agent thing?
I figure a hired killer. But he was stupid enough to pick up some loose bills. That should hang him.
Are you sure?
You know what else I've got? I found a witness. There's a little restaurant a couple of miles down the state highway.
Certainly, I don't mind telling you the story again. There was this young man who came in here that night.
How can you remember so far back?
Oh, Mr. Grover was a steady customer, was a good customer, so I remember what happened the night he died. Yes, he was a good customer, but he put ketchup on everything. Anyway, on that night, this young fellow, he comes in, he was wearing a corduroy jacket and denim pants.
Why did you notice him?
Well, you see, he ordered a steak, and then he pays with a $10 bill, and there's blood on the bill.
Blood?
Yeah, so I says to him, this looks like blood. He says, does it? And I says, how did blood get on this bill? And he says, maybe it's blood money. He takes his change, gives me $1 tip, and leaves.
Why didn't you tell this to the police?
They never asked. Would you believe that this lieutenant here is the first policeman that's walked into my restaurant since it happened 5 years ago?
And can you describe him, Hugo?
I have never forgotten him. He was a big man, 6 foot tall, about 200 pounds. He had black hair, brown eyes, a big scar on the left side of his chin, and the tip of his left pinky finger was missing.
Thanks, Hugo.
Oh, no, sir, yeah, don't mention it, Lieutenant. As far as the wife is concerned, madam, if I get up early on election day, I might even vote for you.
You would? Why?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's why.
What?
Well, you see, you tell the average politician that you're going to vote for him. He shakes your hand. He looks sincere. He says, thank you. You look sort of surprised. You say, why? That is honest. It shows you're honest, and that's something. Hi, Eleanor.
Come in, Tom.
Got here as soon as I could. Something wrong?
Nothing's wrong. Or maybe everything's wrong.
Okay, Eleanor, spill it. I don't care what you have to tell me. I don't care how bad it is. Let's get it out of the way.
You carry the thing around with you, Tom. You justify it. You say there was no help for it. It wasn't your fault. Why should you pay for it? But it doesn't let you alone. Whether you admit it or not, it keeps building inside of you, and you feel you just have to tell someone.
I understand. Everyone has his own little secret.
This isn't a little secret, Tom. Funny, isn't it? Of all the people I know, I feel I can only tell you.
What about Ted?
No, I can't tell Ted.
Does it concern another man?
Yes, but not the way you might think.
Okay. We had to come to this point, you and I, Eleanor, because, well, we're going places together.
I know.
Eleanor, 10, 15 years from now, you could become president of the United States.
Oh, Tom. Oh, Tom. Thank you. Oh, I needed a laugh.
Why are you laughing? Sooner or later, we'll have a woman president. Why not you?
Dream on, Tom Caldwell. Dream on.
For all of them, it began with a dream. So ask yourself, why not you? You'll be 40ish, even more beautiful than you are now. Wiser, more experienced. Now, what could hold you back?
Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Darling?
Ted, where are you?
At police headquarters. I won't be home until late.
Can't it wait?
No. I have to do it now because I just brought in my prisoner.
Who?
The killer. You know, the guy that murdered Paul Grover.
The man who murdered Grover? Can you be sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. We got him cold.
Is it possible? Can two people have murdered Paul Grover? We know of one, but who is the other? Can there be another? Maybe it's possible to murder a man twice. We will deal with a number of interesting possibilities when I return shortly with Act 3.
Oh, sure. You can talk about good-tasting diet drinks, but I know. I'm Goldilocks, and here at my taste-testing laboratory, I taste-test them all. And nobody's been drinking my diet drinks until I tested sugar-free Diet 7-Up. And then, kabloomy! Every bear wanted some. Diet 7-Up is fresh, natural, delicious. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up. This one's just right.
Hello, Amco. My automatic transmission just got automaticing. I was wondering, do you service Chevrolets?
Do we service those sensational Chevrolets? Ma'am, Amco has serviced over 3 million automatic transmissions of all kinds. Nearly 900,000 Chevrolets alone.
Ooh.
Do we service Chevrolets? George, pitch pipe, please.
Chevy Nova and Impala and the Bel Air and Camaro and the Chevy too.
Oh, my.
Yep, we know 'em. Every Chevrolet automatic make and model on the road today, from the oldest Biscayne to a bright, spanky Caprice. By the way, what sort of Chevy did you say you had?
A Chevy Mustang.
Well, no matter. Nobody knows your automatic transmission better than Amco. AA MCO.
There are over 500 AMCO centers coast to coast. Consult your yellow pages for the AMCO center near you. AA MCO. AMCO.
Although once is usually par for the course, it does appear that some people can be murdered twice. 5 years ago, Eleanor Hartley was forced to kill a man in self-defense. And now it develops that the police have evidence against another killer. And Eleanor Hartley, whose horizons are unlimited, now has to make a crucial decision.
Everything all right with Ted?
Yes. Just fine. They got the killer.
Killer?
The one who murdered that, Paul Grover.
Oh, that's great. Well, Ted is really a great detective. Who's the suspect?
I didn't ask.
It'll probably be in the news. Okay, Eleanor, I'm waiting.
Tom, I don't want to lose everything. Why should I lose everything?
Well, you won't lose anything.
Don't say that.
Is it that bad?
Yes.
Well, then it'll have to come out.
No, it won't.
Eleanor, Big Jim is out to get you. He'll stop at nothing. Whatever it is, believe me, sooner or later he'll uncover.
No, he can't. No one can. Only I know.
Eleanor, there is no way out except the truth.
You're wrong, Tom. There's another way out. And it turned up for me tonight. So, the problem is solved. It's settled. It no longer exists.
Eleanor,
No, Tom. I've pulled myself together. I realize the stakes I'm playing for. It simply will not bother me anymore.
You say that so easily.
It's a matter of alternatives. What will be best for everyone in the long run?
Well, I don't know what it is, but I sure hope you can live with it.
I've lived with it for 5 years. I can live with it forever. I'll have to. Ted?
Oh, I'm sorry. I woke you.
Did you think I could fall asleep? Tell me everything. Who is he?
Vince Perry. Very bad boy. He's had quite a career. 5 or 6 years ago, he was just a punk. Now he was on his way to being number one in narcotics in this town.
But, you've got him for murder. How did you? Well, after all, 5 years ago, the police couldn't get anywhere.
Well, I had one break. That little restaurant. I guess the detectives never went there last time. It is an out-of-the-way place, but...
But why didn't Hugo come forward?
Hugo represents a large group of people. Guys like Hugo simply don't volunteer.
But all Hugo gave you was the description.
It was enough. It told me it was Vince Perry.
But the description, is it enough?
2 other things put him on the scene. The tire marks. They're a very special Italian tire. I checked back. I found out that Vince Perry had come into some money, bought an imported custom Italian car.
Oh,
And the button. I made the rounds of clothing stores all around his neighborhood. Found out where he bought most of his clothes. Guy checked back through his records, and sure enough, Vince had bought a corduroy jacket with that type of button.
Would all that be enough?
The description, the button, the cast the cops took of the tires 5 years ago. Plus, well, I shouldn't say that.
What?
Plus the fact he looks like a killer. Has a bad reputation. Well, we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Why did you say that? Who was worrying about him?
Well, I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong?
No, let me just swallow this.
Hey, wait a minute. What's with the pills?
I need something to help me sleep.
But you never took pills before.
I've never been under this kind of pressure before.
Well, why should you be under pressure?
You don't understand politics.
I thought the idea was just for you to get up and tell the truth.
It's more complicated.
Because you make it more complicated.
Well, you don't know what a strain
We're fighting.
Hurst himself.
Do I have to meet him?
He's really a very nice guy.
He's a thief.
Oh, and this morning I've arranged for you to visit Vince Perry.
Vince Perry?
Yeah, in his cell.
Why would I...
Calm down.
How could you even suggest...
Look at it this way. You have to do me a favor because I have to do Charlie Colligan a favor.
Who's
Charlie Colligan?
Who?
Your worthy opponent, Big Jim Parkhurst himself.
Do I have to meet him?
He's really a very nice guy.
He's a thief.
Oh, and this morning I've arranged for you to visit Vince Perry.
Vince Perry?
Yeah, in his cell.
Why would I...
Calm down.
How could you even suggest...
Look at it this way. You have to do me a favor because I have to do Charlie Colligan a favor.
Who's
Charlie Colligan? He'll deliver the vote for you in the 4th Ward.
This is the kind of politics that I intend to fight.
No, my dear, these are the kind of politics that I shield you from. Vince Perry just wants to see you.
Why?
Well, it'll be a very private meeting. Nobody will even know you were there.
Why?
Colligan owes him a favor.
Do you mean to tell me that if I refuse to see this gangster, I can lose the 4th Ward?
It's not that simple, that open and shut. But elections have been lost by 1 vote.
Well, let's get it over with.
Well, nice of you to show up, Congresswoman.
I haven't been elected yet.
Oh, I hear it's in a bag.
I only came as a favor to a good friend.
Now, you're getting the hang of politics. That's what it's all about, no? Favors.
I agreed to come to your cell on 2 conditions. A, it would be kept secret. B, I would do nothing that's foreign to my principles.
Okay. Let's find out what your principles are. Let's see if you want to start out by doing the right thing.
What do you know about the right thing?
I know this. The right thing would be for you to confess to the murder of Paul Grover.
What did you say?
Come on, you know what I said. You know why I said it. You killed Paul Grover. I seen you do it.
That's a lie.
Here's the way it was. Now, I get the contract to knock him off. I followed him in my car. I figured I'd bag him after he came out of that restaurant. But first, he stops and picks you up. Then, after a couple of minutes, he stops again. So, I stopped. I heard it all. I seen it all. I let you go. Why not, huh? You did my job for me. And I never forgot what you looked like.
You can't prove a word of it.
I'm in the spot you were in when he tried to attack you. Now, nobody would have believed you then. Nobody would believe me now.
What do you expect me to do?
Like I say, the right thing. There's 2 kinds of people, honest folks and thieves. Now, there's a law. The honest folks obey it, period. The thieves break it. I'm a thief. What are you?
Eleanor, I don't think you two have ever met. I'd like to present you to your opponent, Congressman Jim Parkhurst.
How do you do?
Well, so you're Eleanor Hartley. Well, now I know why I'm going to lose. You're even prettier in person.
I think I'll leave you two to chat. Excuse me.
Are you already conceding, Congressman?
Oh, sure. My time's run out.
Really? But you're running a very aggressive campaign.
Well, you kill a snake, the body can still wiggle. No, dear, I've had it. The voters are wise to me.
You know, I always thought you were an ogre, and you are the but a very charming ogre.
Eleanor, let me give you a word of advice.
Advice?
Best in the world, because it's advice I never followed myself. Now, when I became aware of you for the first time, you broke my heart.
How?
I saw you as I was, 30 years ago, filled with spirit, sincerity, a desire to find the truth and work for it.
Really?
Yeah, sounds strange coming from me, doesn't it? Well, just remember, it doesn't happen all at once. You wake up one day and, well, yes, you're a crook. You're dishonest. You betray your constituents.
Now, you're not really that bad.
My dear, I'm worse. It starts with the first lie, the first deal. That's when you swallow that first tiny drop of poison. Remember that. Have you tasted yours yet? No, don't answer. Just think about it.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you.
Well, I know you'll have a highly successful career because you're a very honest little lady. You might even become president. Good luck.
Well, what did you think of Big Jim?
Tom, I want to do something, but I need your advice. I want to make a statement. It's something that is true, but it would end my career.
Then why make it?
Because it's the right thing to do. Ted, what are you typing?
How was the big luncheon?
Oh, the usual. What are you typing?
Here, want to read it?
To Chief of Detectives, dear Inspector Summerfield, please accept my resignation from the police force. Ted, what's this?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't want to be a cop any longer.
Why? Why?
Well, look, you'll be going to Washington.
I thought we...
Why do I have to be a cop all my life? Why can't I try something else?
Because, Ted, for you there is nothing else.
Look, let it go.
Ted, I love you.
I love you, too.
What do you want me to do?
About what?
You know. How long have you known?
How long have I known what?
When did you first find out that I killed Paul Grover?
The first night I got the assignment. You told me about it in your sleep. You were having a nightmare, but you told me. And every night since then, in your sleep, you kept telling me. The buttons missing from your jacket in the closet.
Why didn't you arrest me?
How could I? Why should I? Besides, this is the perfect setup for Vince Perry. He's a rat. We're better off without him.
Yes.
And Paul Grover would have been killed by him an hour later. Why should your life be ruined? It's better this way. We need you more than Vince Perry. And it was self-defense anyhow.
Then why do you want to resign from the force?
Because I just made my first deal. I've taken the first drop of poison.
Someone else said that to me earlier.
I'll stop now before I become the kind of cop I have no use for. Hey, what are you doing?
You can't resign, Ted. You're going to make an arrest.
No, I won't. I can't.
You can. You must. I've taken the first drop, too. And I can't live with it either. Please, Ted.
But it'll be the end.
No, Ted. It won't. You'll see. It'll be the beginning.
It was quite an unusual arrest and an unusual confession, an unusual trial, and a rather unusual verdict. Not guilty. It would be nice to be able to say that she was elected, but no, there is a limit to the unusual. A pity. I'll be back shortly.
Hi, Ms. Goldilocks here. Professionally taste-testing diet drinks can be very difficult, but I've just had to bear with it. Then I found sugar-free Diet 7-Up. It doesn't taste like other diet drinks. It's fresh, light, natural, delicious. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up tastes so good that I've taste-tested it hundreds of times, and each time I've given it my seal of approval. Yes, this one's just right.
Our cast included Tammy Grimes, Paul Hecht, Robert Dryden, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by new sugar-free Diet 7-Up. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The WOR Mystery Theater was brought to you by ShopRite Supermarkets, where you get a lot more for a little less, and by Suburban Savings with offices throughout North Jersey. The preceding Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network.
Got a second? I'd like to tell you about a new kind of radio program you're going to be hearing right here on this station. It's different because it's being done just like they used to do them back in the good old days of radio. In fact, we're going to play some of the great programs for you again. I'll be waiting to see you right here at 79 Wistful Vista. The name on the mailbox says F. Magee.
The good old days of radio coming your way this Monday night at 9 o'clock right here over WOR Radio, the talk of New York. Be sure to tune in.
I'm Fulton Lewis in the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Washington, D.C. Now, my commentary. The House Judiciary Committee opened its historic hearing of evidence on the possible impeachment of President Nixon today, and almost immediately it voted to receive the complex and controversial data in closed session. The committee met in public session for only 25 minutes before voting 31-6 to move into executive session, joined only by its staff and lawyers for President Nixon himself. Committee Chairman Peter Rodino, the New Jersey Democrat, promised that the 38-member committee would meet, in his words, our high constitutional responsibility in weighing a mass of evidence on whether the president was involved in the Watergate affair and its cover-up. The ranking Republican member of the committee, Representative Edward Hutchinson of Michigan, used the occasion to define his own view of an impeachable offense, which he said must be a violation of criminal law. That is a much stricter standard than other committee members have called for. It is also stricter than that reached in a brief prepared by the committee staff. That brief holds that serious misconduct short of a criminal violation can be impeachable if it subverts the constitution of government processes. In the meantime, Representative John Anderson, the chairman of the House Republican Conference Committee, said today that the country would probably benefit if President Nixon resigned. He predicted his impeachment if Mr. Nixon does not step aside voluntarily. The Illinois Republican gave his views to newsmen shortly after House Republican leader John Rhodes of Arizona said that the president, in Rhodes's words, ought to consider resignation as a possible option if erosion of public confidence bars him from effectively carrying out his duties. Anderson said that he and other Republican congressional leaders have considered going to the president and actually asking him to resign, but he said they have decided to wait until after a House vote on impeachment. Congressman Rhodes, when asked if the Republican leaders might personally press upon the president a suggestion that he quit, seemed to choose his words very carefully as he replied, "I know of no definite plans at this time." Vice President Gerald Ford said today that the Watergate issue has caused a loss of confidence in the federal government, which he said has reached crisis proportions. He added, "The time has come for persons in political life to face the truth and speak the truth. The time has come for persons in political life to avoid the pragmatic dodge which seeks to obscure the truth." Discussing the president's release of the edited transcripts of White House conversations, Ford said, "I believe those documents, painful as they may be, but I believe they will help establish the truth." Ford's schedule included 4 speeches in the state of Chicago and in downstate Illinois today. It's been more than a week now since the president played what one top White House aide termed his highest trump card in the continuing Watergate drama. He, of course, announced that he was responding to a House Judiciary Committee subpoena for 76 Watergate-related tapes of White House conversations.
by turning over to that panel and, of course, to the public 1,254 pages of edited transcripts of the tapes. Committee Chairman Rodino and Ranking Minority Member Hutchinson would be invited to the White House to hear the original tapes so they could verify the accuracy of the transcripts. As you recall, a tremendous nationwide fanfare accompanied the president's announcement, White House officials declaring that, in their words, the president has made available to the public and to the Judiciary Committee what he believes is the full Watergate story. With that, Presidential Attorney James St. Clair stated flatly that no further Watergate tapes would be handed over either to the Judiciary Committee or to Special Federal Prosecutor Leon Jaworski. In the meantime, White House Chief of Staff General Alexander Haig made it quite clear that neither he nor presumably any other current presidential aides would answer questions of any congressional investigating panels. Last week, Haig, following the specific orders of President Nixon, invoked executive privilege in declining to give information to the Senate Watergate Committee. To put the entire situation in its proper perspective, I think several aspects must be analyzed. First, why did the president decide to release the transcripts of the Watergate tapes? While it may have been legally proper to completely ignore a subpoena from the legislative branch of government, I think politics obviously decreed that the president had to make some response. His chief advisor suggested, and he agreed, that his own best defense would be a strong offense. By releasing the transcripts not only to the House Judiciary Committee but to the entire nation, he would be kicking off a new public relations campaign, one that would be aimed at portraying the president as having nothing to hide, being completely candid about the facts in the Watergate case, and being almost completely cooperative with the congressional panel which is now investigating Watergate in connection with the possible impeachment of the president. Despite assertions of Nixon loyalists, those controversial transcripts do not prove the president's innocence. The important thing to remember, though, is that neither do they prove his guilt. The picture they paint is one of complete confusion, one that is, of course, open to widely varied interpretations, and that, in essence, is all the White House feels is necessary in order to at least temporarily, perhaps permanently, sidetrack the impeachment proceedings. Without further clear-cut evidence of any wrongdoing on Mr. Nixon's part, no fair jury, including the Congress, could possibly find him guilty. The tape transcripts, in and of themselves, do create reasonable doubt as to the president's guilt, and that, of course, is all that is necessary for acquittal under the American system of justice. In this respect, the decision to release the transcripts was probably a very wise decision. What do those transcripts reveal? Well, when read in their entirety, they do not substantiate the president's claim of May 22nd of 1973 that he had undertaken, in his words, an intensive effort of my own to get the facts and to get the facts out. Conversations covered by the transcripts seem more like script writing sessions, a very careful coordination between the president and his chief advisors, Ehrlichman and Haldeman, regarding a plan of action regarding the Watergate case. There is nothing conclusive indicating that they were concocting some plan of action to protect administration insiders who might have been involved in the break-in of June 17, 1972 at the Democratic Party national headquarters. There is nothing conclusive indicating that they were trying to cover up the facts in the Watergate case. Admittedly, there are very, very strong suggestions along those lines, however, and perhaps that aspect of the transcripts has dismayed and disappointed some of the president's principal defenders to date, including Senate Republican leader Hugh Scott and House Republican leader John Rhodes. Even former Nixon troubleshooter, now a columnist, Clark Mullenhoff, was prompted to comment today, quote, "Throughout his administration, he has given the impression of thorough, systematic studies of facts and law, but when Nixon-edited transcripts were published, we find no systematic effort to discover all facts of the Watergate burglary of June 17th. Instead, we find crafty, dishonest efforts to learn what the United States Attorney's Office and the FBI might develop from sources that could not be controlled or coerced into a preconceived scenario. Mr. Nixon made no systematic effort to consult the criminal law experts or the constitutional law experts to determine what the president should do in carrying out his responsibility that the laws be faithfully executed. Instead, we find President Nixon fumbling with only a superficial understanding of the law of evidence and incredible insensitivity to the problems of obstruction of justice." Perhaps the most damaging of the transcripts involves an exchange of March 21st, 1973, after John Dean had told the president of Dean's possible involvement in the crime of obstruction of justice. The president speaks first. Talking about your obstruction of justice, though, I don't see it. Dean replied, well, I have been a conduit for information on taking care of people out there who are guilty of crimes. The president, oh, you mean like the blackmailers? Dean, the blackmailers? Right. The president, well, I wonder if that can't be. I wonder if that doesn't. Let me put it frankly, I wonder if that blackmail doesn't have to be continued. Let me put it this way. Let us suppose that you get the $1 million and you get the proper way to handle it. You could hold that side. Dean agreed. The president then asserted, it would seem to me that that would be worthwhile. Dean commented, well, that's one problem. The president, I know you have a problem here. You have the problem with convicted Watergate burglar E. Howard Hunt and his clemency. Dean, that's right. And you are going to have a clemency problem with the others. They all are going to expect to be out of prison, and that may put you, Mr. President, in a position that is just untenable at some point. You know, the Watergate hearing's just over, Hunt now demanding clemency, or he's going to blow. And politically impossible for you to do it. You know, President, that's right. Dean at that point commented, I'm not sure that you will ever be able to deliver on clemency. It may be just too hot. The president responded, you can't do it politically until after the 1974 elections, that's for sure. Your point is that you couldn't even do it then. Dean commented, that's right. It may further involve you in a way that should not be involved in this.